Welcome back to the WatchTower Film Podcast, the film review podcast on the Fuck it! We're doing it live!
Fuck it!
Hold on, sorry, I dropped something.
You dropped your animal quackers?
Drop it.
Whoa, guys, check it out. I got an animal.
What is that?
I don't know. It's an animal.
It's a liger.
It's
All
a
right,
liger.
in 5,
Remember from Napoleon
4,
Dynamite?
Yeah.
3,
favorite animal's a liger.
2, 1.
Welcome back to the WatchTower Film Podcast, the film review podcast on the Tower Cast Network by Cinephiles for Cinephiles.
I got animal crackers.
And Mr. Michael DeLao, giving us a cinematography perspective, has animal crackers on the show today.
I have
Give it up for animal
It's
crackers.
a liger.
It's a liger.
I have Welch's gummies.
Oh, show it to your camera.
I used to be addicted to those, man.
Which ones? Are the animal crackers? Or,
Yeah,
Dude, do you
or
remember
we
when they
just-
came in a little box?
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
great.
yeah. You
That
just
was-
make a hole on it and just fucking...
Yeah.
And then you play with the box. It's great.
Yeah, dude.
Guys, this is a kid's show.
Fuck
gonna
them
play with
kids.
your
Welcome
box.
back to the podcast. We're going to talk about some rated R pictures today.
They're going to learn today.
They're going to learn today. We're back. And
There is a murder on the
What is so special about
there isn't
this
a murder on the
episode?
dance floor because it didn't get nominated for
wait.
shit.
Wait, let's see if we can do this. Do you have the full list?
Oh,
Of the
Like,
best
can you
picture.
just can you put the full list on the screen real quick?
while he does
I
that,
don't know if you remember. Oh, I'm sorry. Go
well,
ahead.
while he does that, I'm going to introduce my fellow host, Mr. John Eric Castro.
I'm giving you the actor's perspective and my opinion on these films today.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You want to try that one again? You wanna try that
Yeah.
one?
Wait. What do you do? Like back to one.
Back to
Wait,
one.
Reset.
Let's reset.
All right.
Let's. We got camera. Okay.
Settle. Quiet on set.
Hi, guys. I'm the actor connoisseur and giving you the actor's perspective in this episode of Best Picture Oscar nomination.
Why do I feel like he's mimicking me? Why do I feel like he's? Is that what I do?
I'm trying to find the
Is that what I
word,
do?
bro.
Oh, he just doesn't have the hair to go.
Yeah. I got a lot of compliments on my hair today. I don't know why. I dig it, and I'm about to cut it. I heard whistling.
The only compliment I got today was you look like an adult finally.
That's a compliment.
Yeah, that's a compliment.
All right, Mr. Austin Young, make sure we're sounding good on the ones and twos there.
Hey! Who also put together a very lovely PowerPoint for us.
Absolutely.
Thank you,
He
Austin.
may or may not intercut it in the show.
No.
okay.
Well, it's really
But
helpful.
if you want to put your mic closer to your mouth, that'd be great.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Is it really that bad?
These mics are like you gotta
Are
go
stupid.
get up on them.
How's that?
Get up on it.
And I'm your humble film servant, Carlos Autora, offering a writing, directing perspective. And we're here to talk about the 10, right?
Would you say you're a maestro of cinema?
Is that what you wanted to do?
That's what I wanted to do.
What I say, I'm a maestro of cinema, not on the slightest. But
Ah.
we are going to hold over on this episode and talk about the.
Hopefully we keep people's zones of interest.
That's what last
Not
time.
one of them.
I hope our past lives don't get in the way.
Oh.
We'd really be poor things if we couldn't figure it out for this sentence episode. I don't know.
Man, you guys are all looking like Barbies.
You know what? This right here is the zone of interest.
I've already done
You
some.
got that one covered.
Damn
It's almost like you don't read your American fiction
Yeah,
novels.
man, you're killing my flowers moon.
I think I was trying to make it something.
You're killing my flowers moon. I just really hope this podcast doesn't blow up like Oppenheimer, you know?
That was an easy one. That was all right.
That was a-
Hey, round of applause, everybody.
Avatar 2. Let's go.
We didn't get nothing, did it? Not even VFX.
That's because it was last year. Don't you remember that? Like, we couldn't add that into the sentences like, Avatar 2.
Yeah.
Well, we're here to talk about the 10 Best Picture nominees for the
Yeah.
2024 Academy Awards.
As always,
Like and subscribe.
2 big notes. Yeah, like and subscribe if you haven't already. We do this weekly, and we've been really good about it. And we're always doing new episodes. We've been covering the Oscars. We covered our favorites from the past recently, which was a lot of fun. Got to talk to Doug Jones.
Got to talk to Doug Jones. That
Did
was great.
Shape of Water. Fantastic episode. So please go back and look at our stuff, and then like and subscribe. Stay tuned. And number 2, as always, you need to watch every film before you come to our podcast. No exceptions.
We had to do
We're not
you
waiting
had-
for you.
You know what's sad is I had a few very key figures in our lovely film community here earlier, and they were like, "Yeah, I maybe watched one of them," and I was like, "No, man, like you gotta come on."
It's hard. It's hard.
It is hard. It is hard.
is.
But
You know what is
We-
hard is also is the format of this show.
Yeah, we keep changing it, but we're
format?
fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we only have 20 minutes per episode. Per film.
Relax, Sport will cool it off. There's some films that aren't going to take 20 minutes to talk about. They're just not that great.
Absolutely.
Oh man, it better not be the one that I really liked.
No, you're traumatized. Anyways,
What's
no,
wrong?
but
Do you want to talk about it?
No, just you'll know by my tonal inflections that I am ready to go ham on that movie. So we better take 21 minutes more than most.
What are
If
you,
you guys
21
go over
Savage?
20 minutes, I'm going to play you off.
That's good.
Yeah, like the Oscars, yeah.
So yeah, we're gonna get into it alphabetically, and again, 10 pictures to cover. So we're gonna kick off right away. But this is gonna be fun, man. This is, I always say, the Oscars are the film, cinephiles, the film lovers, the filmmakers' Super Bowl to an extent, right? Because
Nice,
even
yes.
even the Super Bowl has controversy on whether it's rigged or not. So why not compare the two?
Exactly.
But it's a great time to literally, as Delaus kind of said in the past, and use these metrics to still rate or to still have cinema of merit and have a forum to dictate that to an extent,
Right.
And
Let me see if I can get the rules right again.
the rules.
Yeah, the rules of engagement. So each of us will go around. We'll just quick fire a rating.
Yep.
And then after a quick fire rating, we can go clockwise and just talk about the film. Okay? Or like kind of our own thoughts on the film.
Did somebody ring a doorbell?
Yep.
Is that God?
There's people here.
Or are we gonna?
Yeah. We'll give a quick rating and then roundabout for maximum 20 minutes.
Yeah. And then also, do you want to kind of go back and forth with who reads off the nominations and everything, or do you want to just I can go?
Whatever you guys want.
Okay. Cool. Well,
No, I nominate you to read the nomination.
you got it, man. I'm here and I am
Proud.
a camera operator. Austin, start the timer. We are talking about our first Best Picture nomination, American Fiction, directed by Cord Jefferson, starring Jeffrey Wright, Sterling K. Brown, and Erica Alexander.
I loved Sterling K. Brown in this film. He was
Same.
fantastic.
It received 5 nominations this year
the guy on the
for
left?
Best Picture, Best Actor, Best Supporting Actor. It's his first Best Supporting Actor nomination. Best Adapted Screenplay, and Best Original Score.
I don't remember the score
Carlos-
being that memorable.
I do. It was very jazzy. I
Really?
liked it. Yeah. I think it was blending in, again, it's culture but modern, and it had a lot of interesting takes.
Okay.
But Carlos, start us off with ratings, then we'll go counterclockwise.
Okay. This is a great picture. It's a great commentary on a ton of stuff. I'll still though, we're talking about the Oscars. This is the big leagues. I think it sits somewhere at like an 8.5 for me. I'm at about an 8.5
Castro.
with it.
Yeah, this thing hits like a topic that I'm glad they shine the light on it.
Yeah.
I'll give it an 8.5 as well.
Austin?
I give it an 8.9.
8.9. Okay, so a little bit higher on the scale.
Good thing you know how to count. Thank you.
Yeah.
You used your fingers for that?
5.
Did you use your animal crackers for
Oh
that?
yeah. Come on, Mr. Lion, we got to get through this.
By one leg,
I'm
no, you got
gonna-
3 legs.
I'll split the difference and I'll say it's like an 8.7 for me.
Okay.
I liked it a lot. I think there's a lot to talk about, but I do think it had a lot of shortcomings, and I don't know if it's going to go up in rating. But yeah, 8.7 right now.
Okay.
How is this
I
an
will
adapted
say-
screenplay?
Oh, it's based off a book.
American Fiction,
what
I've
adapted.
heard of it for sure.
I will say, the interesting thing about this thing is a lot of films suffer from it.
Give us a quick summary of the film.
Okay, so American Fiction is about an author who is essentially teaching at a university. He's a published author, but his books aren't very popular. And he's always kind of compared to African American authors who write a little more popular, either novels or kind of, they talk about more now subjects, more relevant subjects in terms of, like police brutality in terms of poverty in black communities.
Right.
And he's very relatable as a character, especially for us, because it's, he doesn't want to pander to that. He just wants to be a
Exactly.
good writer, period. But he stumbles in a drunken night of an adventure. He stumbles on, like, I'm just going to write something as a joke.
Dude, that scene was great.
That scene was terrific.
That was
Yeah.
fantastic.
And he writes a full-fledged novel where he becomes a bestseller ultimately, and he's struggling morally. Right, he's making a lot of money. He's getting his book sold for picture rights, winning awards under a pseudonym. So he's struggling morally on whether
What
he
was
should.
the name of the book?
The name of the book was Fuck.
And not PH.
Not PH.
Yeah.
Name of the book was
Straight
Fuck.
fuck.
What was it before Fuck? My apocryphy or something?
No,
like that?
wasn't
Yeah, it was something like-
Annihilation or
No,
something?
that was the director who was gonna
Yeah.
make an adaptation.
Yeah,
of
that was
Oh,
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
there you go. I was
No,
like,
it was
whoa.
my apothecary or my apocryphy or something.
My apocryphy or
something like
Yeah.
that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But anyway, that was a pretty good title. But anyways, so that's essentially what the film is about. Through that, he goes through a bit of an arc with his family. His sister passes away, and suddenly, and he's left with his mom suffering with Alzheimer's and kind of dealing with that. A recent divorcee of a brother who discovers he's homosexual and is exploring that at the same time. Falls in
His
love with
arc
the
was
next
pretty
door
nice.
neighbor. It's a great thing,
His
man.
arc
It's a
was
great
nice.
little arc on all accounts. I think the thing about this film that I want to point out first is it had. I don't know if I should say this. I'm gonna say it, and if we need to cut it out, Austin, you'll be
Yeah,
a
I'm
judge of it.
scared. I'm scared. Like,
This had horrible marketing. And the reason I'm scared to say that is because of the company that produced it. It had terrible marketing. I don't think this film was marketed well. I think people
thought it was
maybe
something else, or what?
maybe the studio was trying to be cheeky on like we're gonna market it this way because this is what he's adamantly against. I don't think they went that far. But I think it was pretty
what do you
terrible.
mean? Like, how did they market
They
it?
marketed it like a Tyler Perry film. Think about that.
Oh, I don't remember that, but no,
Yeah, you
definitely
didn't see
not.
like the trailers and stuff. That's what turned me off about watching it to begin with. I was like,
No, I went into it blind. Like, I like
Oh,
it.
okay, yeah,
No,
yeah.
but I mean, like when you go into any film blind, I think you're gonna get the best experience out of everything
Yeah,
because
yeah.
you're just saying, "Give me whatever you want." I'm not gonna put any expectations. But I do agree that it was in a weird spot because again, this is trying to market itself as. Oh, it's so weird. It's trying to market itself as being like a true. I guess black
It's a
story.
black film. Yeah,
it's
it's
a
a
true
black
like
film.
black story.
Yeah.
But then
so
the
when you see
whole
the trailers,
message,
it's that.
yeah.
It's like, yo, the writers are doing this, and then even the poster, it's creative. Don't get me wrong, but the outline of like the do rag on top of him and stuff like that. Maybe it was an alternate poster that I saw, but it didn't draw my attention in the slightest.
Yeah.
you know?
Thank God I didn't see that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it looked like it would be like a comedy, and then even in the trailer,
Like a
they
straight
had a
comedy.
moment of like, oh well, the FBI called, but don't worry, they're not gonna pursue it. It's like, wait, what do you mean they're pursuing me? And it's like, oh, but you didn't commit a crime, and then they cut to the cop scene.
That's the poster I'm talking about.
Yeah.
What is this? It's
They cut to the
clever,
cop
but
scene
it's
and
not.
then
What
It's
is
clever,
this?
but it's not
Come
what
on.
it
Yeah.
is.
You know, so yeah, the marketing really bugged me about
but
this.
the movie was really solid.
Speaking to other cinephiles, just really quickly about the marketing,
ahead.
other cinephiles agreed with me. Like I have friends out there that like,
Saw that.
dude, I don't want to watch it. It looks really bad, and it's like, yeah, I agree. And then I watched, and I was like, marketing. It was the marketing, dude. It's actually a really good film. Like I would tell people because you shouldn't have to preach that for your film, you know. So yeah, I just think that turned people off in the initial thing. But let's get into the film. This
yeah.
I liked it, but
Yeah.
I'm really curious at what the reception was for it. Because obviously, it's
well,
a,
I mean,
it's a
what
touchy subject.
numbers? What or what do you mean?
Like different.
I don't know in
People-
terms of critics.
Well, I mean,
I don't know.
Just because of the subject that they're talking about, and the
It's-
wokeness of trying to.
I mean, that's also why it's like nominated for like Best Picture, and they were
Which I
campaigning
love, you're
because
right.
I feel like it's to get attention towards a film that's trying to speak beyond just like regular pop
Yeah.
culture cinema. Like
It's very relevant to all art, too.
Yeah.
By the way, not just.
You don't think it's speaking to like a certain issue, like
Yeah, but it's like he says, it speaks to all art because when you, and I feel like we've all seen it, but when you go to places that have either like super, I don't know, like gritty, like art from people of color, something like that, and then the museum says like, see, we're giving voice and we're helping to inspire and all that. That's one of those things where it's like, okay, that's great that you want to like, you're like romanticizing the
I think so.
underprivileged communities, but then like all these communities at the end of the day just want to be recognized as good people and
Yep.
all that. And we've had that conversation.
That's why I
multiple
say
times,
I can relate directly with this character and why it relates with all art because we've sat with studios and we've pitched to big industry people and the big thing that comes out is, oh, you guys are Mexican from the border, right? So like let's talk about that.
Yeah, or
That's
let's lean into that.
Okay. And we have people have told us in the industry like lean into that.
Be
lean
more
into that.
Mexican.
Yeah, be more. Yeah, and it's like
even I mean, I don't think it's too bad to say, but like people even say, "Oh, would you mind redoing this, but like in Spanish?"
Yeah,
And,
legitimately.
like, to get a better audience.
Even for me,
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
so-
it's one of those weird bags, and I think a lot of communities deal with it.
Yeah.
It's super interesting to see the way that they played it out, and
Exactly.
then I love.
But I love the duality of it. I
Yeah,
love the
no, I love
duality
that
of
exactly.
that this film showed. The duality of his character and Issa Rae. By the way, Issa Rae's character, she's terrific, man. Issa Rae is the other author who wrote the other book, that he's jealous of or whatever. I love her arc. And she's actually a writer. She created Blackish. She's actually a very talented,
right. I remember her.
Issa Rae,
Yeah, her.
and she was terrific in this. And her character also kind of showed like, this is what we got to do. You know, this is what we're trying to do.
Her and him connected.
Yeah,
Where it was
they
like,
connected
that
in
was a horrible
that conversation,
Right.
right? But what I love about the duality is they're presenting themselves as this, and the white individuals are like, "Oh, tell us more about your life." and
That's
about
what I wanted
this."
to talk
Or,
about.
or like a
That's
lot of
what I want to talk
the
about.
yeah, or like a lot of the sentences, like when they're pitching to the publisher, and they're like, "Oh, I like that title. It's very." And then it's like, oh, you mean black? And it's like, yeah, but I'm glad you said it.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay,
Dude,
yeah.
we've had these
Yeah.
conversations verbatim with industry people, you know,
Yeah.
and that's why I say it just applies to art. I've always just said, and we've had other people tell us this too. A lot of good people in the industry has reiterated this for us, and you know, I always just like to say, I want to be a good storyteller that happens to be Mexican American.
Yeah.
You know, that's the goal.
Yes, that's the main thing, dude.
And it's weird because on that same fence, there's also the people that are at least I'll speak for our community.
Yeah.
There's also people that are like, no, I want to make Latino films
Right.
that are very much Latino films,
Yeah.
in your face Latino,
And more power to
yeah,
you.
beautiful.
No,
But-
and that's kind of what we see the duality here, because
Yeah.
it's almost like you have to fight within your own community of like, what's the voice that needs to be heard right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like,
That's
are
why
we
I liked
are we
it.
going to be pushing for good, like a good piece of art, or are we going to be pushing for something that opens up, the community and
conversation.
more
So
into-
conversation
right?
opens up
Yeah.
conversation.
And that's great, man. That's the thing that this film tackles the most. But I also want to get a little bit into the struggles he kind of goes through on the arc with the girl, with the woman he falls in love with from across the street.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty special. I think that's a pretty special arc.
I was gonna add on to that, like a lot of people are commenting in the film. They're commenting on how they love the book that he makes because it's so raw and so real. And I love the way that in the film, when you see his own personal struggles and how raw and real those things are,
And
that's
people are adamantly
like,
against him, right?
yeah, well, like how those are the real raw elements that a lot of people deal with in their daily lives, and it's not really talked about. Like in a family where you have somebody dealing with like Alzheimer's and all that, and then the conversations of like, well, are you going to pitch in financially? And it's like, oh, well, I'm struggling right now. It's like, well, we're all struggling, but how are we going to deal with
Oh, that was a
this?
tough
Or
one.
like
That was a tough one.
dealing with somebody who just passes away, or like, we have this dark side of our family that we really don't talk about.
I love that scene on
Yeah.
the beach, by the way.
Yeah.
Where they're like spreading the ashes. And I'm like, yo, Tim, shut the fuck up, Tim, or whatever the guy's
When
doing.
we're passing by.
Yeah, you've always been
Shut the fuck up, Tim.
you've always been a douchebag, Tim. Yeah, like
so great. No, I do want to touch a little bit on the relationship side of things, because I
Right.
love it was a cool parallel between the family friend maid character.
Oh,
You know
yeah.
how she falls in love with the security guard character,
Oh, okay, yeah.
and like they get married, and he starts to see like, oh man, this shit does really exist. Like,
Yeah.
he wasn't really believing on the love factor. He was feeling that was getting away from him more and more. I think he was once divorced, if I'm not mistaken, the character.
yeah, he's divorced.
So
Yeah,
like,
divorced.
They're all
yeah,
divorced.
yeah. So like, just seeing that kind of like parallel and that arc for him, and even like seeing his brother, see that change in him. Like, oh, you're just like dad, but like dad didn't stick around. He fucking blew his brains out or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
I thought that was so special, man. I thought that was so special. That arc, just for me, where he does find love and he does find connection, and ultimately we don't even know if he ends up with her at the end, right? Because he's a writer and he's making his own kind of judgments on what may or may not happen. And I think that's so good, man.
I kind of like the
can relate
brothers
to
art a little bit better.
by the way,
where at
Sterling K.
end-
Brown, what have we seen him in? I know
He's
from
in,
another film.
This Is Us.
This Is Us?
That was a big thing he was
This
in.
is us.
Yeah, it was an
was a
ABC
TV show, yeah.
it was an ABC like.
I feel like he was in
network
other
show.
stuff though. Black Panther. He was the dad or the uncle in Black Panther.
Oh really?
The flashback scenes
Oh,
where they
yeah,
kill
yeah.
the.
No, but I've seen him something else though.
Yeah. Well, what else has he
Big
been?
Man. No.
Marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
Oh yeah.
The Predator, with Andrew Brody. So he's
American
one of the
Crime Story.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah, I feel like I saw him maybe in Black
He's
Panther
around.
right now, but he's good, man. He's
Criminal
really good.
Minds,
But yeah, it's his first Oscar nomination.
well deserved for sure.
Yeah, and he was talking about it the other day.
terrific.
Yeah, super.
What was his
excited.
arc? His arc was like he wasn't accepted till they finally like.
No, he was. He absolutely was. He just.
Well, I
offend-
guess the mom or the aunt didn't know.
No.
If anything, the mom knew and was like would call him names and stuff like that. I feel like his arc is just like,
But when they find him with like those two guys towards the end,
oh, that was just like how out of control his life is getting that it's affecting other people, right? You're supposed to be there to attend a wedding that you didn't even
Exactly.
plan to attend, and you just forgot on your coke bender
but
or whatever.
wasn't it like they finally saw that he was and he was comfortable with it?
Yeah, like they accepted him.
yeah,
Exactly.
That-
When the
them.
aunt, I forgot who is.
Well, like no, I don't think it was the homosexual thing as much as it was like, hey, you fucked up, but we still love you and we still want you to
Oh,
hang
okay,
out.
yeah,
like
yeah.
you want to stay for the party.
Exactly.
That was that. It was more like, it's all right. Don't worry about it. We'll clean up the mess. Do you want to stick around? You know, I think it was just like that.
Oh,
like
that's
he
even
can
more
mess
beautiful.
up and like
more
because in
beautiful.
every other area of his life he messed up. Right? He's getting divorced. You know, I think he mentioned like his kids hate him. He doesn't have money. He's a doctor and shit. You know,
Yeah.
so it's
Yeah.
like he's messing up in every area of his life. But in this scenario, he's trying to find happiness through love and freedom. Right? He's finally being free sexually and physically and stuff like that. And then in his exploration for that, he's judged by it. Right?
Uh-huh.
Until there's finally some acceptance there. You know.
And what I love about his character is like he's lovable. He's not.
Yeah, he's great. He's not.
great,
Yeah.
dude.
By the way, I also relate to this sibling dynamic a lot, man. I have one brother, I have one sister, and I.
You have a sister?
I do have a sister. Yeah,
never knew you had a
yeah,
sister.
and
in Arizona.
How's she doing?
married with 2 kids, Castor.
I said, how's she
She
doing?
actually has 4 kids.
Oh.
No, but
She could have a fifth.
she's coming to town next week, man. I'm gonna keep her away from you.
I'll be there.
And she looks like me, so you know, take that for what it is.
All right.
All right.
Anyways, no, but I like the sister character is a lot like my sister. I'm
Ooh.
kind of the brother character, and my brother is Jeffrey Wright's character.
Yeah.
That's kind of, I mean, kind of a little bit of, well, not anymore actually. My brother might be the brother character right now with his exploration and what he's doing. He's not gay or anything. He's just in Colombia chasing pussy. So like,
that's nice.
it's
That's
kind of
nice.
similar.
Ain't
yeah.
we all?
Aren't we all?
Good luck.
No, but essentially, I relate to that sibling dynamic a lot. I saw
okay.
myself in this character a lot as a creative. I saw myself in the sibling thing, and the arc of dating somebody who kind of gets it. And is trying to get it, and you're just being an asshole because you're frustrated about other things. It's so good, man. It's just so good.
Dude, and then the whole, I mean, I need to wind down, but the dynamic of dating somebody outside your race, that's kind of an interesting topic where like everybody was mentioning
Yeah.
like, oh, I'm so glad that, you know, they're not white.
That's
you know,
that's
like,
a very black thing, right? It's a very black thing, like kind of like the Jewish thing too, right? Like
Yeah.
you don't marry outside your race, type of thing, and if you do, you're kind of judged on it.
yeah, it's
Because the brother's
interesting.
ex-wife was white, right? I think
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
the part of the whole deal.
I think they're both of them were.
Oh, the
For
girl.
Yeah.
even for
No, no.
Oh,
for
him.
the
Oh,
two
you're right.
brothers.
Because
Yeah,
they were
it
saying like,
was
oh
like-
yeah, she was a white girl or whatever.
Yeah, it was like, oh, shut up, like.
But when they were by the pool, that was a good scene.
You know
Real
what
quick-
scene I really like? Oh my bad.
Go ahead, no.
The scene where he goes to the library and he asks for the books for his.
He puts him on the front.
Yeah, but then he goes. It's an African American. It's like it's not.
It's not just
and
only
he's like,
African American.
well,
I
it's like
love
the-
it. Yeah,
like,
it's great.
You know,
It's
that's
great.
what you know.
Okay, last thing I want to ask before we like start winding down, and if you want to ask something, but how did you guys feel about the movie thing?
Like the movie adaptation thing?
Like towards the end, kind of like everything
You're talking
already.
about the ending or always?
More the ending.
More the ending?
Because the
I
always
mean,
thing kind of just it's feeding
you know
into the
what?
same.
I feel okay. Even though this is talking about a writer, right?
Uh-huh.
This is being adapted into a movie, and a lot of times, I think for writers, a big like victory can be
Yeah.
getting a movie adaptation of your book. Right?
Definitely, absolutely.
And
I mean,
feel,
that's how he makes most of his money.
And then I feel like
Is
a lot of-
selling 1.5 million for the film
Yeah.
rights and shit like
Yeah.
that. So yeah, I mean,
So I feel like in that, it's almost like you can create a story, but then again, that whole element of other people getting involved and the pandering and all that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
and the kind of people you have to suck up to.
Yeah.
Like this guy's making what is it called?
Which
The plantation annihilation. That's the person he has to suck up to.
Yeah.
You know, and it's kind of like that's the person he has to deal with, and then you know, even when he's outside and seeing like a guy dressed in like the slave uniform, it's like
that
Like,
casting
man.
was kind of perfect
That
too,
last
man.
one,
That
that last-
producer. All right.
All right.
All right. Well,
What was up with that last part, real quick?
With the studio thing?
No, with the guy dressed as
oh, it's just kind of like we're all doing what we got to do to, get
That's
by.
what I took out of it.
Yeah, where
I
it's
even
kind
asked
of.
myself, like, well, he's getting out of that big meeting, but he's still doing that.
Yeah, no, it's kind of like
Which part are we talking about?
at the very end of the film, he's leaving, and in front of the set of that plantation annihilation thing is a black guy
dressed as a slave.
Yeah, and it's kind of like
It's
he
just
just shot
like,
on peace sign, like we're all doing
we gotta
what
do what we gotta do. Yeah,
exactly.
man. That's why I told you it was very reminiscent of the film we just finished.
Yeah.
It's kind of just like, fuck
is
it,
what it
that's
is.
life. It is what it is. Let's keep it pushing.
Last thing I'll ask, while Castro's trying to figure out whatever just happened, do you think that this is gonna get any awards?
Nope, not in the slightest. Sorry.
Okay, that's it. Just-
What do you think?
I don't think
better ones?
it's up for fight. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, there's
ultimately,
so many. I
it's
mean,
just it's
it's
a damn good Oscar
Yeah, you
year.
know,
We should
yeah.
have opened up with that. It's a damn good Oscar year, and it's up against a lot of shit, man.
Yeah,
That's a pretty good way to put it.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
the only thing I'd probably put it for is
Actor maybe, but no. I'm
no.
sorry.
Actor was good.
By
but
the way, like
Exactly, but
I had
there's other
somebody,
ones
I had
better.
somebody tell me that, like, dude, I feel like he in every film he plays the same role. And then they told me like, but I saw this one, he was way different. I really agreed.
Who with
Jeffrey Wright, like every other
I've seen him
film.
in Westworld, and he kind of has the same.
He did a couple Wes Anderson films that were really good.
he's been a big Wes Anderson
yeah.
thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
and he's good, but he does kind of play the same dude every
same
time.
dude,
But this
but
one, he
he's
was
good.
like
Yeah, yeah.
more of a good character. So
I'd say like I would like the best supporting just because it's his first nomination. It'd be kind of
oh,
nice.
it'd be great. It'd be
Like,
great.
yeah,
But he's
I'm
up
with you on
against
that.
Downey, man.
Yeah.
He's
Best
up against
supporting
I
Downey.
know,
actor
I
chance.
know, but I'm just saying it's like really nice. That's his first like
Yeah, yeah,
Oscar
it's great.
nod. It's
It's
big
a-
for anybody. So yeah,
But unfortunately, Sterling, when you're up against Downey and Bobby De Niro, it's gonna be a tough
All
tall
right.
order.
Next
Moving
film.
right along.
we have Anatomy of a Fall.
Anatomy of a Fall.
Directed by Justine Triet.
This one was
Triet.
interesting.
Yeah.
Starring Sandra Huller, Swan Arlaud,
Arloud. Swan Arloud.
and Milo
Machado.
Machado.
Grainer.
Machado Grainer. I'm so
Yeah.
sorry I could butcher
It's a
these.
French.
Yeah.
I think they're all French.
Yeah.
It has 5 nominations also for Best Picture, Best Actress, Best Director, Best Original Screenplay, and Best Film Editing.
Editing.
I don't mind giving the breakdown for this one, unless
Yeah,
anybody
sure.
else wants to take it off. So, Anatomy of a Fall is talking about.
I lost your mic.
Stand by.
There we go.
Yeah. Gravy.
Okay.
Is it Jason?
Or some ghost that looks like Jason.
Reitman. Anatomy of a Fall is basically about this couple that they're both writers, right? That live in this little secluded kind of French town, and or just like farm outskirts French town.
Yeah. Countryside.
Yeah, countryside house with their son who's partially blind, and it's a wife and a husband. What happens that one day
And their dog.
and their dog.
Oh, yeah.
One day after the wife invites somebody over to basically have an interview on her writing and all that, which ends pretty disastrous just because there's distractions coming from the husband's music and everything. Something
Playing
goes
50
awry.
cents.
Something goes awry in
Yeah,
this
pimp.
home where the husband is found dead on the floor, and then the rest of the film is a court drama trying to trace back the steps of
The Fall.
the fall. So like,
Who's to
was
blame?
it suicide? Did he kill himself? Was this what is it called? Foul play.
Yeah, yeah.
And you go through everything from them coming to the house, the coroners, all the way to the court drama, and then you see the resolution at the end. Super interesting film.
Very
it was
interesting.
shot very much to reminisce like
Yeah,
the way
well-
we see news reports and
Yeah, right.
documentaries.
It
Yeah.
even has that weird, was it 24?
The like slow mo
the-
thing or
oh, the frame rate thing?
The
yeah,
frame rate, it was
Yeah,
weird.
no,
It
no.
was-
It would mix in and out
Yeah.
of like
Dirty.
news camera
Yeah.
kind of footage to
I noticed that for sure.
act like like in normal media today where we see like a court case is going on the screen and
Yeah.
people trying to document it
How do
and
you
find out
feel
what's
about
going
Oscar right
on.
now with the cinema? Because that
Yeah,
was weird.
it's super
Yeah.
interesting. It also blends in a little bit of like what German, French,
Yeah,
English,
definitely. They're
all around.
multilingual and
And that's also a big part of the film because
Yep.
not only is she trying to defend herself, the
she's
wife's
a
character.
foreigner in this country essentially, right?
Yeah.
This isn't where she's from.
The
She's
windowsill.
German. She's German. I
She's
think,
German.
originally. And she's in France because of the late husband. And there's the best scene in the film, I think, their fight, where they really dig into some of this stuff, and it's just terrific.
And it's this really interesting blend of both like moments in the film that are happening there and then reenactments, and the reenactments will change based on who's telling the account. And super, super dynamic.
Yeah, it really does put you in the seat of you pick, right?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah,
And then at the very end of the film, which I won't spoil it, but
don't.
Yeah, no.
Yes, do it. Right, they're supposed to have seen it.
No, they're not supposed to have seen it. We're recapping for everybody.
I'm 50-50.
We just said at the beginning of the episode. You said.
I know, but that's a joke because this is like, go watch every Oscar film before the Oscars. Like,
That's not that far-fetched.
it's not far-fetched, but it's a little hard.
Wait, we were
Austin,
supposed
are we
to see
gonna
every
be
film?
Yeah. I mean, all I'll say towards this is
Yeah.
just that at the very end, there is a resolution in the court case. You see it all the way through, but it does leave you with that feeling of you still don't know who did it, what
you already
happened,
told them what-
because it's just it's everybody's word against everybody's word. Like if you don't see it, you don't know what's happened.
Exactly.
At one point, we were blaming the dog. I'm not even kidding.
Yeah.
And because.
Ratings. Let's get to
Ratings. I really enjoyed this film. I thought that there was a lot of character in both the cinematography,
Great.
storytelling. The acting was really solid on all parts. Even they brought up the acting of the dog and the child, and I thought everybody's part.
Yeah, the
like
child was
everybody,
pretty good.
Everybody just did a great job, and I love the ability for the director and the writer to use courtroom banter
Oh, I love that.
as this way of constantly
I don't know if you guys saw the
shifting the
judge.
audience's perspective on what's going on in the
Yeah.
story. It's super, super interesting, super dynamic. I want to give it a 9.3.
Whoa.
I really enjoyed it. But that'll be my rating. I'll talk later on if I think it's going to win anything, but go ahead, Carlos.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the execution for this film, and I think this director's got something on her hands. I've never seen any of her other
Justine.
films, but she's getting a lot of buzz. Naturally, she's nominated for Best Director, but I think this is one of her first few films. Maybe she's done 3 or 4, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow, and then Oscar
And
nomination.
again, it's so cool to see female directors thrive, and do something special, do something
As female
cinematic.
directors ourselves, really.
Yeah, and essentially, what's important to know now, I guess she's done a few more. Like 4 or 5 films. Some of them were shorts, but yeah, I think Justine Triet's got something special, man. I think her as a director really hit this on the nose really well. The performances were fantastic on all accounts.
Super solid.
The casting was
Yeah.
really solid.
The kid.
the kid, the husband, the judge, the lawyer character was actually
The
very
lawyer, I like
interesting.
the lawyer.
Oh, and like I said,
Yeah.
them switching between languages
Yeah.
and using it both with and against each person.
Yeah.
That's
It's
super
ammunition.
dynamic.
It's
Yeah.
ammunition. To use language as ammunition is really interesting, and I think the writing is extremely well done. It's not my type of film per se. It does play into a little more of the traditional courtroom drama, which I'm not the biggest fan of. It did something unorthodox, but I think the unorthodox thing came from us not ever seeing a French courtroom. I think that's what it is, right? We're used to an American courtroom.
But I also think that in the way that it blended in reenactments and the way that it was shooting it, not only from the perspective of
I kinda like
being intimate with the case,
Yeah.
but also like the new stuff, the new stuff where you're watching like this third party camera.
That was
I
weird.
love-
That was some weird stuff.
I didn't
I
love
like-
the new stuff.
Yeah, that was
I
some
didn't
weird
think it was
stuff.
necessary to an extent.
Well, it's okay to be wrong. I'm joking.
It's good, by the way.
What's
It's
your
just,
rating?
I think just I put it at about an 8.8. There's something about it when I was, through the trajectory that I was like, can we get fucking going? Can we
that's
get
where I'm going with
fucking
it.
going? And it wasn't slow. That's not what I'm trying to say. I was just like, okay, we get it. Move on. Like, I get it. You're spending a little too much time on this. Like I said, just the dynamics of the kid for me were crucial. The arc the kid goes through on essentially having to testify whether his mom goes to prison or not, right? To an extent, and all the pressure he feels, and the relationship between the wife and seeing the husband as inadequate and seeing him as the unsuccessful writer when
anybody
she's
put
like a
yourself in his
bestseller.
feet,
Yeah, exactly. Just as a man, right? As a man,
Right,
like
it's
being in
like,
those positions, and it's just I fell in love with those dynamics a little more. And by the way, just something to note: this thing is a Palme d'Or winner.
Yeah.
that means it won the biggest prize you can get at Cannes.
Can you say it in French?
Palme d'Or.
No, but the movie.
Oh, the name of the film in French? No, I can't.
It's pretty weird, huh? Can you put it on the?
But Justine Triet got something that like I as a director one day would like to have.
What?
She anatomie d'une chute. D'une chute.
Anatomie. Don't shoot.
We're not going to waste part of the 20
Yeah.
minutes trying to pronounce this name of
The
this
Santa Barbara International Film Festival is really becoming a top tier festival in recent years. Like heavily, man. Like they're doing really well for themselves, and they honored Justine Triet alongside Martin Scorsese this year for director.
Oh, wow.
They said you two deserve to be in conversation
praise,
with each other.
man.
You know, I mean, that's huge. And yeah, she's got something really special, man. She's comparatively okay. We're gonna talk about another female director that we're very fond of that made a film that we may not be very fond of, you know, on this list. So I just think Justine Triet is a really talented director. I think she's got a really unique voice. But the film didn't make me sit there for a minute and be like, once we got to the resolution, it was like, wow, that was intense, but I'm kind of glad we're done.
Yeah, same.
And that's feeling something, right?
Yeah.
To her credit, that's feeling something. But it's just it didn't move me compared to other films on this list. So yeah.
Castro.
Mine's kind of low, man. I'll give it like an 8.3.
8.3?
Really?
I'm a courtroom drama person. Like I love them. I love the judge. I love the one with
The lawyer, dude, the bald lawyer was really crazy, right?
yeah.
That was a good
the
part.
prosecutor.
But I'm with Carlos. I think it was just a lot. Just for the end was kind of intense, but it was just like we could have kept it going a little bit faster. Great acting, amazing acting by the kid, the mom,
Her
the
man,
dad.
Sandra Hewler's amazing in
Is
this.
she the one from the
Zone of Interest?
Zone of Interest, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
I know.
This is a much better show of her talent. I think.
Exactly.
Oh, especially like the car scene.
Absolutely, yeah, man.
Austin, rating.
What did you say? 8 point what?
8.3.
8.3.
I'm at a soft 9.
Soft 9.
Soft 9.
Okay.
Why?
It was more the courtroom drama stuff that I really enjoyed.
You enjoy the courtroom drama stuff.
And I do think that the prosecutor got snubbed. I think.
You think so? He was terrific.
Yeah, I
was
think he
terrific.
should have gotten a nod.
But he didn't really have an arc, right? There's nothing to follow him through.
I'm with you, dog.
It was
But
great.
I mean,
Yeah.
as a supporting cast member,
Yeah.
to like really
That's
emphasize.
I would say that's a stretch. He doesn't have a pivotal role in this
Yeah.
film. I mean, if
thought-
anything, the lawyer, her lawyer, had a little more of an arc. They fall in love and
he
shit.
has,
There's a
he
whole
has an arc.
thing.
Well,
Yeah, he has an arc. Of course, he has an arc.
Every story needs an obstacle, and he was a really solid obstacle.
The lawyer?
No,
The prosecutor?
Oh, yeah.
Carlos, it's okay to be wrong.
Yeah, he
Okay.
was good. He's a
Well-
good actor. It doesn't mean it was a good role.
I think that this is definitely an interesting one to see.
Definitely.
For
It's interesting for sure.
like for cinematography, I mean, I know that it didn't get a nomination because, again, it didn't do anything overly innovative. We've seen this stuff before, but I do think that for anybody looking into cinematography, should look at this film and see the
Really?
way that they blend different elements, different formats together to create tonality.
Sure.
I'm a big believer on the tonality and trying to accomplish that in films, and I loved it. I loved everything that they were trying to accomplish. I just remember really being like struck at how much I was enjoying the images. Oh, because also a lot of the cameras moving. There's all this the tension. You're there in the room. I really enjoyed it. So
And it's in the stillness that we're in the deepest shit.
yeah.
It's in the stillness where everything's still. It's when they're fighting. Where everything's still is when they discover the body. Those are pretty impactful images.
Just to kind of round it up, do we think it's going to win any of these nominations?
I think she has a pretty damn good chance at actress, but again, comparatively, she's my number 3 right now.
Who's the other two?
Well, I mean, there's more actresses that are nominated, but I think Lily Gladstone is up there, and Emma Stone. Emma Stone's my favorite. Emma Stone's my number 1. Lily Gladstone won the 2 major awards that an actress typically wins. She just won the BAFTA, and she just won the Screen Actors Guild Award.
They have stronger
She's
roles.
gonna win.
Yeah, they have stronger
She's gonna win the Oscar.
I agree.
We'll get there. Carey Mulligan was amazing. I don't think this was the
we'll
best
get there.
performance I've seen her in. So we'll get there. We'll get there. But
Do you feel like it has a chance for editing, Austin, or do you feel like we saw better edited films this year?
No, we definitely saw some better ones.
Yeah.
It was good, but
But it was,
you wouldn't vouch for it on best editing per se.
All right, yeah. I think
Not a May fall.
No, it deserves all the nominations. I don't know if it's going to get
It
any of the
deserves
wins.
to be in the conversation.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and
even screenplay. Just the juxtaposition of images and how we go through each arc. Each character has an arc well within their own rights. Even I don't know why I'm so stuck on the kid's arc. The kid's arc essentially of being like with a guardian from the court and the point at, who do I trust?
Weird.
And
Like,
No, and
it's
there's
such an interesting arc there.
I didn't even know
there's
that.
a vulnerability to that.
Absolutely.
Like this kid has to decide the fate of like if his mom did do something wrong, then he has to accept that he's gonna live with somebody else and be
That
alone.
had me at the edge of
And
my seat,
yeah,
dude.
I mean that's super interesting. Like even when he was crying at the end because he's like, oh wait, maybe she is like okay because I did this weird experiment with my dog.
Oh man, that was heavy, dude.
Yeah.
Oh,
The
yeah.
dog, poor doggy.
I know we're all watching the scene like, no,
You
why are you
fucking-
Oh, and then the dog, I mean, looks really bad. Like,
Yes. I'll tell you, if you could win an Oscar for dog, dude, that dog was.
By the way, quick side note,
Yeah.
10 seconds. So this shoot that I was just on for the film, there's a scene with a dead puppy. And like, so they have a live puppy that's acting and all that.
I had one
And then
too.
they had to make a dead puppy and they like brought a trash bag and they're like, oh, so this is the dead puppy trash bag. And I like felt it. I'm like, I don't like this. This makes me feel bad in places. Like, yeah. But anyway, all that
Yeah.
to say,
Not having a
great
fall.
film. Please go watch it because I know that sometimes with all these best pictures, they get a lot of nominations and then it kind of
These
falls
get
under
lost.
the radar.
Yeah,
They
absolutely.
get-
But
they
this
get
was
lost,
again. We talked
A
about
really solid year.
Parasite. We talked about. We've talked about last year. Obviously, we talked about Triangle of Sadness. All Palme d'Or winners. And they're all terrific
Triangle
films.
of Sadness was Palme
All
d'Or.
right.
Triangle of Sadness was the Palme d'Or winner.
was
that year.
crazy, dude.
Last year.
What was the gross
4 mil on a.
on a 6.2?
Well, that's euros. So maybe 5
Is
mil.
that
Yeah, that's
pounds?
true.
What's the
5
thing
mil.
for pounds?
5 mil US.
Okay, but yeah.
Euros to US.
6 mil. About 6 mil. Man, the dollar's more than the euro right now?
Yeah, dude.
Jeez, that hasn't
USA.
happened in 20 years. Anyways, moving right along. Go watch
America.
Anatomy of a Fall.
Yeah.
Let's bring it back to the next one on the list.
Which one?
Oh, dear God. Here
Okay,
we go. Field day, ladies and gentlemen.
We are going to talk about Barbie,
I forgot the song. How's
directed
the song
by Greta Gerwig, former actor Greta
No,
Gerwig.
what's the Pete Davidson one? Just kidding.
Pete.
Oh, Pete.
Uh,
I'm mentally ill, but I'm on drugs.
oh
Yeah.
God. This
I like
meme,
drugs.
this meme of a movie.
Written
okay.
and directed by Greta Gerwig, as well as co-written by Noah Baumbach and Greta Gerwig.
I saw this in July 20, dude.
Starring Margot Robbie, Ryan
You saw this the day
Gosling.
it came out?
Yeah.
With a Barbie costume, you weird motherfucker.
Yeah, I do wig.
Or did you do?
everything,
Did you do Barbenheimer?
I did 4-inch, not 6-inch heels, all right?
All right.
Oh, heels. Oh.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Come on, bro.
Starring Margot Robbie, Ryan Gosling, and America Ferrera.
Yeah.
8 nominations this movie for Best Picture, Best Supporting Actor, Best Supporting Actress, Best Adapted Screenplay, Best Production Design, Best Costume Design, Best Original Song. You put *2.
Yeah. 2 songs got nominated.
Which is the sec? Oh, is it
It's
What Was I Made For
What
one?
Was I Made For, which I think should win.
Yeah.
That one was
I
really
actually do
solid.
think should
Yeah.
win. I think it's the only thing this film should have win by a mile. Okay.
Okay.
What's the other song? I'm just
I'm
kidding.
just kidding. I don't understand
By the way-
how that gets Oscar love. Won the Golden Globe.
Ryan Gosling is going to perform this at the Oscars.
No.
Brace yourselves.
I
He is.
know.
It's confirmed.
And he's going to be like that? Oh, my God.
Obviously.
He has to be.
Oh dear.
Wait, so Billie Eilish is going to perform too, right?
Eyelash? Did you say Billie Eyelash?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, like the things on your eyes. Really quick note. God, what an odd film. Only because
He kind of glitched out.
no, like I'm sorry, I stroked out there for a second. But we just talked about like American fiction and talking about these underrepresented communities. What?
Oh, it's okay.
No, yeah. Go for it.
You're missing one. Go on.
Okay. No.
Missing one? What do you mean?
1, 2.
You're missing cinematography.
Oh, that's right. I forgot best cinematography.
It's important to note because Rodrigo Prieto's up for 2 Oscars this year for 2 different films.
Yeah. No, I was gonna say we just talked about American Fiction, which was a super interesting take on like
sorry about that.
underrepresented communities and the way that other people will take their image and manipulate it. And
Pander.
and then this is talking about another big topic, which is the idea of again like women in
identity and
identity, women in society, what their role is, and what are their expectations. And that's why a lot of people fell in love with it. I know multiple people like multiple people from the female community were saying, "Oh, there was these parts that I really identified with or I connected with," and it just kind of shot everywhere, right?
Well, you can blame IMDb because they don't have cinematography listed.
Okay. Well, I think it's interesting that it sprayed out to a lot of people, and something was there for something was there for everybody.
It didn't get nominated for cinematography.
It did.
No, I'm looking at the Oscar website right now.
Is this guy wrong for a second time today?
Oh, huh.
Anyway,
Maybe there's a rule that you can't.
Okay.
By the way, so why you put 8 and there's 7 listed? Oh, times 2. Never mind. Sorry.
Okay.
No, we're good. We're good. Everybody's hearing.
Again, we are not the targeted community. No, I'm not saying target demographic as far as enjoying this film. I'm just saying when it came to the message, the big message in America Ferrer's speech was all about like what it means to be a woman, how hard it is to live up to certain definitions, and those are the elements that a lot of people are going to talk about and say like, why shouldn't Barbie?
I'm ready to get canceled.
Yeah, no, why shouldn't Barbie be the one to get Best Picture? I think we just saw that. There's other people who have said the same topic better. There's other ways to tell it. This movie was trying to appease everybody, and I think that kind of shows for it, right? Like it was trying to be experimental in some ways. It was trying to be funny. It was trying to be empowering. Yet it doesn't really come up with a solution.
She's everything. He's just can't.
Yeah, like I mean, and then the final joke at the end of the movie is like, I'm gonna go see a gynecologist. Like I don't know. It's funny.
It's funny.
And I thought it was a fun movie. And there's a whole conversation that could be had on the double feature of Barbenheimer itself and what that did for cinema. But as a movie itself, as it stands, I just knew that this was going to be like, even during a Barbenheimer event, we all knew Oppenheimer was going to be heavy. Barbie's going to be the fun. Let me just chill out, have fun.
Bounce it out.
It's going to be enjoyable.
Yeah. What's your rating?
My rating as it sits, I know that we're pretty far into it. I'll give it an 8. It was fun. It technically, like they're even putting a best production design.
So you kind of liked it.
It's fun, but I'm not gonna put it 9 or higher. It wasn't bad. There wasn't an element of it where it was like, oh, that really falls flat. I just think that it was trying to appease too many people, and that's kind of one of the challenges. If you're trying to appease everybody, you're not going to make one really solid thing, Yeah, it didn't take enough risk. It was being very safe, I think. 8.
Can I go next?
Yes, go next.
Go next.
Carlos is like, please.
Carlos goes last.
I give it a 6.9.
Okay.
Bitch, I was going to put that.
Oh, my God.
Okay, you can still put that.
The issue is Greta Gerwig did not direct this film. Her and Noah Baumbach didn't write this film. Her and Noah Baumbach have a great filmography where they've done films that are 10 times better than this. The studio's hands were too far into this film.
I thought you
it
guys
was
liked
too
it when it first came
commercialized. No, dude.
Oh, no, it was super commercial.
It was bad, dude. Will Ferrell's performance was bad. His character was bad.
It was a gag.
Yeah.
It's not all of my rating goes towards its technical mastery, but again, there's better ways to tell the story.
Yeah, like you said, it's been told a bunch of times way, way better.
And I think people are just so lost in like the marketing, because it was marketed really well, because the money was there.
It's a great blockbuster.
Yeah, it's a great blockbuster, but it shouldn't
I wouldn't
be.
even say that.
It's great for bringing people to the theaters.
Yes.
But that's about it.
Yeah.
On a technical front, I can appreciate what they did technically.
Yeah, absolutely.
But other than that, it's not like I thought that this did anything special.
Yeah. So that's my
You
rating.
got a 6.9 also, Chester?
I'm going to go a little lower then,
No,
dude.
I'm a
I'll go
man.
6.8.
You're a 6.8.
Yeah, I'm going to give it this weird take that I give. It's kind of like that Space Jam, that new one.
Oh, yeah.
It was just too much.
I didn't even see it.
There's still a lot of things going and a lot of like, what did you say right now? Like a lot of...
It was trying to appease too many people.
A lot of commercialism, Peace people. I thought it was funny. I've never seen Ryan like that. It's fun to see a character.
It's a good comedy.
Yeah, it's a good comedy, man.
It's a good comedy, but then it wanted to be deep, and then it's like,
in certain sections for sure.
Like to me, I remember when they were advertising this, I was like, oh, if it's gonna be like a 90s like obscure kind of comedy where the toy comes to life and now we got to get the toy back in the box. I thought that would have been a fun movie.
Yeah.
I would have wrote that fun comedy, just turn off your brain, just enjoy it. But then again, this wanted to be no, it's funny. No, it's serious.
Yeah.
Hey, but it's still just a comedy. It's kind of a romance. Like it wanted to be too many things, and it didn't. It didn't just sit with
I
itself.
thought you guys liked it when it first came out. Because I
It's
remember when I
fun.
told you guys, it was just like...
We had fun,
Dude, the fact that they started selling Mojo Dojo Casa houses afterwards, like that wasn't even just part of the film. They legit started selling those.
Carlos, you had fun. You didn't have any
Yeah,
fun.
sure.
That's
No,
all.
no,
That's all you have to
Yeah,
say.
sure. I mean, who doesn't like looking at it?
Okay, Carlos. What's the rating? Be as brutal as you want.
I'm at a 6. I'm trying to look for this quote that
A 6.
I think Screen Graph shared, or I forget who. I'm at a 6, man. I'm at a 6. I don't think this had anything to say. I think it really bugs me when a film tries to jumpstart your brain when you're. It's trying to jumpstart your brain when I don't think that's what cinema does. A good cinema poses questions that your brain allows you to explore.
Yeah.
This is trying to force you to think about something.
Oh yeah, especially
with jolts of inner energy.
No,
and
even
it's
America Ferrera, like
yeah, dude,
they
that monologue.
They just threw her a monologue
Look,
that's like
I'm glad you brought it up, and the reason I'm being so aggressive about it, I don't mean to interrupt you, is because
go ahead.
American Ferrera, who doesn't like to see a Mexican American win, right?
Right.
She doesn't deserve a
Lopez?
nomination. She doesn't deserve a nomination for this film. American Ferrera is a good actress.
Yeah.
I've seen her in other films that are pretty terrific. I mean, and good for her. She's about to direct her first feature. She's doing good for herself, but it's offensive to me, and I don't use that word lightly. I don't throw that word around at all. It's offensive to me for you to cast a minority group to prove your point. It's fucking offensive. It really
That's
is.
good.
You just casted American Ferrera so that she can deliver your token monologue. Fuck you. Like, it just doesn't. It doesn't do anything for me in that regard. The quote I was looking for is, I shared it recently. Scorsese says, "Don't try to preach something to your audience. Rather, give them situations and let them decide for themselves."
He said that
Yeah.
about this?
No, he just said that in
Oh,
general.
in general,
He just
in
said
general.
that in general about
it's-
cinema.
Yeah,
Right.
it's
You know, and again, to its technical mastery, you had amazing filmmakers behind this. Amazing filmmakers. You had Rodrigo Prieto, who jumped off Killers of a Flower Moon and then came to do Barbie. You had Greta Gerwig, who I've been fucking championing since Lady Bird. You know, and she did Little Women, which I love. Little Women. Little Women is one of my favorite films of that year, man. I love her pictures.
Little
I love her
Women.
relationship with Saoirse Ronan and Timothée Chalamet. I mean, she's an amazing filmmaker. She was on my list of directors to watch. And now she's going in this Doug Liman kind of trajectory where she did 2 amazing films. By the way, she's written other stuff. She's co-written other stuff. And she started as an actress, so she's acted in other great films. But you're going to go make Lady Bird, and I don't know if this is the right trajectory. I may be full of shit, and she's taking a Spielberg route, but she's going to do Lady Bird, Little Women, do Barbie, and then do... Chronicles of Narnia next. What are you doing? Where are you going?
It's the Chronicles.
You know, I don't know, man. I mean,
no, and then also I feel like the conversation I've heard from non-cinema people, like just people that watch movies, that are gonna be like, this is the popular, the popular pick that you know all the people who don't really watch cinema are gonna say Barbie should be the best picture, and I remember
when she wasn't nominated, when the nominations came out, that was a huge point. I was pissed off that day because the nominations came out, and the next day there's articles in the Hollywood Reporter of people saying Greta Gerwig single-handedly saved cinema this year, and she doesn't get nominated. It's like, what the fuck? The box office and the cinematic merit are 2 different fucking things.
Yeah.
Always. You know, it's very rare. Oppenheimer did something really special because it did both this year. That's fucking rare.
Yeah.
But just because Christopher Nolan makes $1 billion doesn't mean he makes a good film. In this scenario, he did. Barbie, the event film Barbie, sure, saved the box office, but it didn't save cinema.
Yeah.
You know, it didn't do anything for cinema, quite frankly.
Get that right.
And that's the big challenge.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the popular pick, and I remember hearing a lot of people after this film came out like, "Oh, Barbie, it needs to be Best Picture," and you know that's what all the kiddos and all that want it to be.
Yeah.
But it's also the same conversation we had when the Oscars wanted to add a most popular film category or something like that.
Oh, there was a
There was a
moment?
conversation about that. A lot of people were like, "That's idiotic."
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're trying to talk about film merit, and then you want to make like a popularity contest. Like no, don't give it to these films that are bringing people in for, you know, a cheap laugh or like a quick little like turn off your brain and watch a bunch of pretty colors. Like, keep the regard for cinema and the challenge it is to make something that speaks to people on a high level.
And
you know,
this is a prime example of how you can buy yourself an Oscar.
Yeah.
I mean, essentially, the studio Warners can go and buy themselves an Oscar, and they're good for them. But look, just as an example, right? You're gonna give Ryan Gosling a Oscar nomination for this, where you're not gonna nominate him for La La Land? Come on.
Come on.
He didn't even get a
what
nomination
are we
for
doing,
La La Land.
Oscars?
You know, and again, the two actors that were nominated in this film were the two of the actors didn't do anything. You know, so to an extent. Don't get me wrong, acting is acting, right? And then Ryan Gosling did dive into a role, but yeah, no, man. So there's just too much with this film. I will say, the costume design, the production design. The production design is probably the best thing this film has.
Yeah, definitely.
Building the sets, and then most of this film took place inside the shooting took place inside a soundstage in London, and they build the sets. And Rodrigo Prieto talks a lot about, like, I walked into this world, and the lighting has to be perfect because everything in Barbie Land is perfect.
Yeah.
The lenses have to be the sharpest because everything in Barbie Land is perfect. So those, again, the technical mastery of it is great. And even the costume design, of course, it's Barbie. You're gonna have to make this look
Such
perfect.
an iconic, yeah.
Yeah.
And I love the Wes Anderson approach of the fake backgrounds to be able to move. I mean, it's a great thing, right?
No, it's again.
yeah.
I thought it was fun, and that for the technical aspects, that's why I gave it as high of a rating as I did.
Do you think it has a chance to
I mean, maybe
Production design.
production
maybe
design,
production
right?
design
Yeah.
because it's so.
But then again-
it's so big, you know.
But then again, Killers of the Flower Moon, think they built the whole town?
Yeah, but they usually do that for westerns, and I mean, also,
But I mean-
I would have wished that Wes got production design for Asteroid City, and like,
How
look,
did he not?
No
dude,
love.
they built
No love.
the mountains.
Exact-
They built the mountains.
I'm also convinced. I'm just
How did he
convinced
not?
that Wes just doesn't submit.
Yeah.
I'm just convinced.
that what
he-
it is?
I'm convinced that he doesn't submit.
Has he
His
ever-
films are too good to not be nominated by proxy for something.
I think I'm gonna sound like a dumb, but has he ever?
No,
Grand
he
Budapest
got
Hotel.
he got nominated for Grand Budapest but
And
no
Isle of
wins.
Dogs.
He's about to win this year, though.
Well, Austin has a whole thing that he's submitting to the shorts category just so he can get an
That
Oscar
may
win.
also not be his call. Those are Netflix films. Netflix likes to win Oscars, you know?
I'm flabbergasted. Wow, he's never like product design, production design, or costume
Hey, what
design.
about Guy Ritchie?
I think Grand Budapest Hotel did get some
That new
wins.
movie
We
looks
talked
pretty
about
good,
that,
though.
right?
They didn't get any wins.
Didn't get any wins, but it got a lot of nods.
It was
The
his,
Gentleman
like
or
the
something,
most
or
nods.
something.
But
Yeah.
yeah.
Anyways,
But Barbie.
drawing it back to Barbie.
Done.
Yeah, I'll just say that this is, in conclusion, the Billie Eilish song got it on the nose. I don't think this film knows what it's made of. I don't think it knows what it's trying to be.
Yeah.
What am I made for?
It doesn't know what it's made for. So yeah, I mean, it was fun.
It's fun.
I do intend on giving it one more watch before the Oscars just to make sure I didn't miss anything.
Because
I
I know
don't think I
that
did.
we all were very surprised when it got that much like love.
We just talked about two amazing films before this one, both of which got 5 nominations. This one got 8.
Damn.
Yeah.
I think that says it all. Moving right along.
The whole
Alexander
Oh my
Payne's
God.
The Holdovers.
We're taking up all 20 minutes for this film.
Okay.
Jesus.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. Go watch it. Next.
Okay. Next film.
Holdovers.
The Killers- Oh my God.
Holdovers.
Did you see what's next?
Yeah, I know.
Go back, please.
Holdovers.
The Holdovers. All right. Directed by Alexander Payne.
I like him. a
Starring Paul Giamatti.
Terrific.
my top 10 for
Dominique
sure.
Sessa.
Dominic Sessa.
Yeah.
Terrific fucking performance by
The
that
kid.
kid. No!
No, yeah. Both of
And
them.
Divine Joy
Who's
Randolph.
nominated? She's nominated.
She's nominated
Yeah.
for
Best
She
Supporting.
was really good.
She was terrific.
I really liked
I liked her arc.
Nominated in 5 categories for Best Picture, Best Actor, Best Supporting Actress, Best Original Screenplay,
Wow.
and Best Film Editing.
For real? For editing? Austin?
At the Telluride Film Festival, Toronto International Film Festival.
Oh my God.
What do we got?
What do you give it?
This
What do you
was,
give
I
it?
think, your favorite of the bunch, and I'm shocked.
Oh, really?
Okay, but it's because
I thought it was going to be Austin's favorite of the bunch.
because you think it's just like soft and easy and all that.
No, I think Austin's sensibilities when it comes to films like this, like he has a soft spot for films like this. So I thought it was going to be Austin's
What type
favorite.
of soft spot? Like teacher that just kind of gets through students?
No,
like a
what's
feel
like
good.
these feel good kind of films who kind of go through these
But he says he like
emotional journeys.
the guilty, rom-com kind of thing.
The guilty rom-com?
Sure, just make that public.
That's
why
a
don't you?
separate category, though. I feel like this falls more into
Where
like
does
the
this-
feel good kind of traditional story of a story, essentially. I think that's
All right,
kind of
quick recap. Going to ratings. Waste no time. Go.
Okay, fine.
quick recap. What's this about?
This
Yeah.
is about?
Kids holding over.
A teacher that's a freaking asshole. With a capital A.
This is Paul Giamatti playing the character Paul.
Is this character really named Paul?
His name's Paul.
Really? I don't remember
Yeah.
that.
I forgot what his last name is, but I just thought like, it's funny. They just
Paul
keep calling him-
Giamatti.
Wow, Giamatti. No, this story is about a private academy up in I forgot what
New
state?
England.
Is it New England?
Yeah.
Go
It's
Pats.
basically a feeding school into like Harvard, into
Yeah,
Ivy
yeah,
League
yeah.
schools.
Yeah, but it's a private high school.
It's a prissy rich kid.
I
high
was
school.
about to say.
prissy
yeah.
rich kid high school.
That's where Costco went.
I wish, bro.
Yeah. What are we talking about?
What is this? The
Basically, what happens is that during the holiday break, there's certain kids that don't
Stay
get
back.
to go home.
Yeah.
They're basically held there at the institution, and they have to wait till the semester starts again. Their parents don't pick them up for whatever X reason. And there's also one teacher that needs to stay back every year during the holiday season to basically chaperone and take care of these kids, and they're known as the Holdovers. Now, in the film, Paul Giamatti is notorious in the institution for basically being like the hard ass and not like
Big
wanting to
minds.
budge. Because
Big
a lot
plus.
of these kids, they're kind of like spoon fed their entire lives.
What I think is very interesting, though, just to talk about that a little bit, to the kids, he's known as a hard ass. To the other teachers, he's known as the joke. And then you discover
known as the
why
joke?
at the liquor store scene.
You know, it's a joke.
Yeah, the other teachers are like, this motherfucker, like, he's a loser, you know, like, you know.
No, but they don't know that.
Yeah, no, yes, they do.
No, they don't.
Especially the one that picks on him, the headmaster.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, there's a whole thing in the liquor store that he
Only
reveals that.
one other person knows that, and it's the person who hired him, and nobody else knows that. Everybody hates him because he's the hard ass that doesn't want to play ball with everybody else.
The classmate that he ran into in the ice skating rink, he didn't know that. There's very few people, but the guy that his boss essentially right now does, like he does know that. It's really like
That's what I thought.
No.
That's what I thought.
The guy above him, because
he was a former schoolmate of his,
you're talking about the principal of the school.
the current principal. Yeah.
No, that was not a schoolmate. That was his student.
Oh, you're right.
That was his
He a
student, and
You're
the
right, you're right,
person
you're right.
above him at the time.
Yeah, hired him knowing
Yeah.
that he got kicked out of school. So.
Yeah. So only one other person knew, but
Okay.
nobody else in the staff and all that. Anyway, going back to it, Paul Giamatti isn't liked by the students. He's a kind of a hard ass, and he's not liked by the teachers because he's a hard ass. And what happens is that he's constantly fighting to instill morality and values into these students who are basically spoon-fed their whole lives. And so when he receives these holdover students, originally he's just like, oh, well, you guys are just going to study. We're not going to have fun. I don't care if it's Christmas. Yeah, you're just like, bah humbug. You're going to be prepping for school because your whole life you've just been spoon-fed and taken care of, and you're going to go to Harvard and Yale, and everybody just gives you A's because, oh, your parents are the highest donors.
Your dad is that.
And he doesn't want that.
In fact, the principal wanted to get him to give.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
So he's trying to get him to pass him.
He tells about this story of this kid where he was going to go to some Ivy League college.
Yeah, that was
but he said, no, I'm not going to pass
Give
that
him
kid
a
for my
C
class
or a
because he's an
D or-
idiot. And it's like, oh, well, I'm begging you. Just give him a C minus. But, yeah, no.
Yeah.
The story then becomes more intimate when most of the holdovers leave, and it's just him with this one kid, played by Dominique Sessa, and he ends up forming this really interesting
discovery in this for this film because he never really acted in film before. He was a theater actor, and not even like a Broadway theater actor. He was in high school theater. He was discovered when they were scouting for this film, where they couldn't find the kid for this role. And Alexander Payne was like, well, let's do some local casting. So we find somebody there. The school that they shot at, this kid attended there.
down?
And they got him from the theater program.
Damn.
No, and it just ends up being this really, really nice, I guess, feel-good movie of
Yeah.
all the different people that are held over never really had a solid family and foundation for the
Yeah.
holidays, and they all end up kind of growing together, and they learn a little bit about each other, and you learn about their past, and
It's a really special exploration
Yeah.
of loneliness.
the reason I liked
say
it so
that.
much is just it felt like a modern Hal Ashby film, the guy who did Harold and Maude, and the
Kind of
director
reminded me of the
Being
Breakfast
there.
Club.
yeah, a little bit. Like the director really wanted
Yeah,
to
way
go
back.
back to 70s cinema, and that was his whole big kick. He just like told everybody, I wanted to have a 70s aesthetic in the art design and the cinematography.
By the way, when it comes to that 70s aesthetic, was it just me or did like the grain and kind of like go away after the beginning?
Yeah, it did. It was literally just there to kind of give you the feeling, and then
feeling.
afterwards, any type of like micrograin was all RE simulation.
Did you like it? Did it work?
I hated that.
Yeah, right?
I would have rather they kept it the entire time. Would have
Yeah.
really put you in that mood, personally.
That's
It's
true.
taking a risk,
Yeah,
I guess.
commit.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's all they were trying to do. They were just trying to like really push for this to feel like a 70s film.
Yeah.
That's all the director was really trying to accomplish, but he made a really pleasant story. I just liked it. I'm not going to say that it's the top of the list. Going
See,
into
I'm not gonna
ratings,
bash
I'm
on
sorry I've taken so much time.
No, it's all good.
But we're taking the time for the holdovers. I'll give it like a 7.5.
Did you guys notice that he really like elongated this to make sure that we talked about it for a while?
And then all that for a 7.5?
I know.
Yeah.
He just really wanted to make sure that we talked about this film.
It's because
What's the thing that... Okay, you already said 7.5. What's the thing
It
that you're
just
like...
caters to the loud sensibilities. It's
This is your style of...
it's just my style. Like I
feel
loved
good.
I loved the texture. I love the tonality.
Mm.
It just was there, and like I mean, I also feel like for a Christmas film, I don't want an overly soft Christmas film. I kind of like that this one was very like broken in a weird way.
I'm gonna
like,
throw you out of a fucking window, Lalo.
why?
Because when we talked about fucking Christmas Story, that's exactly what I said. Is like I prefer something like this, where like
did.
we get this, almost like
I hadn't seen it yet.
I hadn't either.
Well,
I meant in the sense of like this brokenness, right? This kind of
It's-
yeah.
exploration of characters as opposed to this puffy piece.
Yeah.
Unless it's like a super real, like magical realist film, but
Yeah.
that's not the case. But anyways, 7.5.
yeah. Next, you can give it a low rating. It doesn't.
I don't need your permission.
Damn.
I know.
But
He
you
just
can't-
told you to
You
keep
can't go
your
lower
mouth
than a
shut.
7.
No, I'm at a 7. I'm at a 7. It's got a lot of merit.
I'm
I
around
mean,
that
the
too.
arcs are the arcs are decent.
Yeah.
I like Giamatti's character.
He never fails.
Yeah, Giamatti can do no wrong,
Can do
man.
no wrong,
and all of these characters were casted aptly. Even the supporting characters of the other kids and kind of where the characters. I mean, yeah, man, it was done really well. To
Yeah.
see like that, even when they go to the Christmas party and to see like the kid kind of be flirty with the other
Yeah.
girl and see that
With-
a little bit.
Oh,
it's
God, and
really
Are,
the-
are you trying to look down my shirt?
yeah, and then like obviously Divine Joyce Randolph's character having
Oh,
that
she was
arc
great.
with the radio.
She's for supporting
The
actress,
morning,
right?
yeah.
The morning
Her,
of her,
by the
son.
sink and everything,
Yes.
and how heavy
It's
that
great.
scene was.
It's great. Yeah, I mean, I think they took very well advantage of the scenery and where this takes place, and
They
even
did a really good job at that.
that like that
New
chase
England.
scene where he breaks his fucking arm because he's,
Oh,
he's
okay.
chasing after him. It's great. They utilized the space. They filled the space very well.
Right.
It's kind of a dream thing on the director's front. All right, you have this location, you have plethora amount of snow. Have fun. Like it's pretty cool in that regard. And stylistically, I think Alexander Payne is one of the underrated voices. He gets a bad rap, man.
else
I
has he
will
done?
say he gets a bad rap. He did like Sideways, which is another Paul Giamatti
yeah.
early. It's like about wine and
Yeah.
the dialogue is really snappy, really fun.
Yeah, I've
Sideways.
I remember looking at parts of the script when I was taking script writing.
Okay, unpopular opinion. Nebraska is one of his most talked about films as well. Terrific film with Bruce Stern. But unpopular opinion.
Paris I Love You.
The last film before he did this was
Inside Out. Wow.
Downsizing.
Oh,
I know. Hold on. Hold on.
I don't like it.
Hold on.
Everybody, hold on.
I fucking hated it when it came out.
Really?
I rewatched it. I still hate it.
Hold on. Wait. He's
Hold
about
on.
to say that he loves it now.
No. I'm not. But I fucking hated it. I hated it. I thought that political turn at the end was too pandering. I hated it. And I was really excited about it because of the concept, right? At first, I was like really excited. So I went in like, oh shit, this is gonna be cool. And I love Matt Damon. And then I was like, oh, come on, man. It was, and then I watched it like 3 more times after. And the more I rewatch it, the more I'm like, okay, it had something. It had something to say. And it really does. Like I have watched it a few times since. And that's why I do think Alexander Payne gets a bad rap. I think he was trying to say something about humanity that people just, it escaped people.
Go back to that one, Austin, the IMDb page.
Downsizing?
Yeah.
2017 and then this one?
Yeah. Yeah, it takes his time.
It takes his time.
But yeah, I think Alexander Payne is a pretty well-developed voice, man. He's really
Seems
good.
like the highest rated of his films.
Is the Holdovers?
The Descendants?
I think Sideways. Oh yeah,
I
Sideways.
like that one. The Descendants is a horror film.
Yeah,
No, Sideways 7.5.
and Nebraska, man. But
He did
yeah,
Hung?
yes.
I love that one. That's with the Punisher guy.
Citizen Ruth is another one of his most popular films as well.
About Schmidt.
Yeah.
Well, so yeah, I do know this guy.
He has a voice.
Yeah,
Stylistically, I think he's underrated, but I encourage people to go rewatch Downsizing. Just with an open mind, because it is saying this really, really interesting, complex commentary on humanity and where we're at and what the fuck we're doing and how we don't give a shit. And does it matter in the end? I don't know. It poses a lot of really good questions. I rewatched it a few times and I'm like, because I was just curious. I'm like, did I miss something? I need to go back and rewatch it. And after rewatching it, I was like, oh, wow, okay. It could have done better. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of things it could have been way better at. But I thought it was really interesting. Anyways, Alexander Payne. I think just the Holdovers. Did I give a rating already?
You said 7.
I said, yeah, I'm at about a 7. One of Alexander Payne's better films. It's just, again, it's just packaged in this interesting 70s style. But more than that, it creates really good arcs all around. Mm-hmm. I will say its shortcomings come from its traditionalism. I think that's just where it's at. It didn't take as much.
It wasn't trying to be experimental,
and it didn't take as many risks.
Yeah,
it didn't take as many risks. I love the reveal of the character. The reveal of he got kicked out of school and he's teaching at one of the most prestigious private schools. It's great. But again, you're also tossing this in with better films this year. That's what it boils down to ultimately.
No.
Yeah.
And then my last little note on it.
Did everybody give a rating?
Oh no, I'm sorry, Castro.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I'll give it probably like a 7.2.
7.2?
Yeah, I'm a big Paul Giamatti guy. These types of scripts, these type of like screenplays,
Arguably one of the best character actors of our generation.
Yeah, dude. I mean,
Up there.
Really nice
I think he's right up there with Vincent D'Onofrio, like for character actor.
ooh, I think I'll put him ahead of him.
You put him ahead,
Yeah,
Vincent
yeah.
D'Onofrio? Yeah, I love Paul
It'd
Giamatti.
be really nice to see him win, but I don't think
He's not.
No, definitely not. Especially with the films nowadays.
I think it might run for best original. What do you think is going to win original?
Past Lives.
Oh, I didn't know that was original.
No, but I give it a 7.2 because it's my type of film, but not like I'm not really on the whole, teacher trying to get to students and stuff like that.
Oh, you prefer the other kind of movies that do that?
also,
I've seen it. I don't know.
I really like.
But isn't it the exact parallel of what sports films try to do with the coach-athlete relationship?
Yeah, that's
it's the
a whole
same
nother
shit, isn't it?
It's been overdone too.
I mean, it's the same shit.
But I mean, the acting is amazing.
Yeah.
That Joy Randolph, she's amazing.
Am I overselling the kid? I thought he was really good.
No, I thought he was fantastic.
He's good. Yeah, he's good. The movie was just kind of like throwing me off, kind of like.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like it didn't overly wow you. No, and then also I think,
enjoyed the kid who played the bully, Kuntz.
Oh,
The blonde kid or whatever?
Yeah, I
The
thought
blonde
he did
kid?
good.
It was fine.
he was okay.
But yeah, that's mine. I guess I was expecting more from this one. I
Okay.
guess
7.2.
7.2.
Oh, I kind of feel like
You kind of feel
You're
like
at an
me
8, aren't
after
you?
I said I just watched this film and I thought it was pretty great.
Yeah,
You're
I
like,
kinda do.
it's fine.
I give it like an 8.4.
8.4?
Wow.
My rating's higher than yours.
Well, that's what Carlos predicted.
Cinematic. We're talking about cinematic quality here, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Like for sure, it's over Barbie.
Oh yeah,
For sure.
I really enjoyed Divine.
Yeah.
Like I thought she did amazing.
She's
Fantastic.
I think her whole arc was great.
I really love her arc. I'm wondering if her character is a stereotype. That's what bothered me about this character.
I mean, it's yes, but
The
that's
70s.
the sassy woman, bigger woman working at a private school is like that's. I guess it's stereotypical. It's the normal.
But they were leaning into that.
Yeah.
And then also,
Think about it when you were even at public schools. Who were the ladies working in the?
I mean, they were Mexican, but they were.
The big old Mexicans.
Oh,
though.
I mean, no, in Dallas. No, you're right. I mean,
yeah. So it's more the
Yeah.
realism thing.
I also really like the
I mean,
callback.
dude, she puts her own original spin on it.
Yeah.
I
And
guess we just reviewed Shape of Water and Octavia
I know.
Spencer, and I mean,
No, and then like the kid's arc was really good too. The whole like even his MacGuffin of trying to go see his dad.
Oh, that was great. That was a great
That
little
was
arc.
great.
For sure.
That's why he was trying to go to
For
Boston
sure.
the whole time.
But he got fucking Paul in trouble, dude. Come
no,
on.
but I like the callback because
No, but it
if you
frees
remember-
him from this
Yeah.
fucking place, you know?
Exactly,
Like,
exactly.
No, and then the callback
You know what?
because
Yeah, I actually like that.
when
little-
the kid was like defending Paul and he's like, "Oh no, it was my idea, and that's why this happened. So
Yeah.
I'll take the blame for it and all that." And
a
he was
rich
like,
kid won't do that.
"Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly." It was kind of like
It taught him.
Exactly.
It taught him something.
very similar to Licorice Pizza, where it's like I'll give one for you, and then at the very end of the movie, like I'll give it back. Like kind of like
Yeah.
no,
Exactly.
it was my idea. Like I told
Yeah,
you.
I
shit.
also really, 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 really love the arc of he's been attached to this place for so long because he's scared. He fucked up in
Oh,
life,
yeah, and then oddly
but-
enough, it's home and all that.
Yeah, it's become a part of him that he could never escape because of his fear. But then he also the girl from the diner, and that whole arc of like he's never even had a real relationship because of this fucking place. you know?
Yeah.
I think it's a really, really special arc there too.
Yeah.
Also,
I thought all the arcs were great. That's
Yeah.
why I'm giving it such a high rating.
8.4.
8.4.
Yeah.
I even really like the whole story element of like he teaches ancient history, and when you talk to him,
He is ancient history.
Yeah.
No, he's always stuck there. He's
No, that's
stuck-
what I mean. Is
he's
like
stuck
Yeah,
in the
yeah, yeah.
past.
I don't know if you caught this. You know the book that he gives the kid?
Yeah,
Like at the end when he's packing up, he's got them like all there. Like the way I think is that this kid made such an impact on him that he never gives those out to anybody. Like he was planning
Oh,
to,
I like
but
that.
never got the chance to give them out because he never connected really with anybody outside of the
So
kid.
yeah,
So that's why
I-
he's got so many.
yeah. I really liked it. I think the only reason I'm below an 8 is because it's going up against so many things, and then again, when we talk cinematically about films, there's a bunch of other feel good films. Also from the 70s that it's trying to replicate. So it's like
it's emulating something
it's
that
emulating
exists,
something. So
right.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed it. I think everybody
sure.
should go and check it out.
Yeah, definitely. It's one of
I-
it's in this conversation.
Genuinely, after finishing it, I was like, I'm going to put this on my Christmas rotation.
Yeah.
I liked it that much that I think I'm just going to have it there because it was so good. My parents bought it, yeah.
Congratulations. We've run out the clock on this film.
No, we got 48 seconds, so I'm going to say the alphabet. A, B, okay, next.
C,
Moving
D,
right
E,
along.
F,
Oh, this guy
G,
wants to move him.
H, I.
I'm going to introduce this film.
Tailors of the
You
Flower
take a break.
Moon.
No, wait, can I just...
Baby.
I'm going to introduce this one.
Okay.
We're talking about Martin
Killers of the
Scorsese's Killers of the Flower Moon, starring Leo DiCaprio, Robert De Niro, Lily Gladstone, and a huge cast of other amazing actors. that are
Okay,
actually
list
really
them off.
terrific.
You know
I
that.
can't because most of them are non-actors or they're tribal actors who I am not familiar with, but did fucking amazingly in this film.
10 nominations.
This got nominated for 10 things: Best Picture, Best Director, Best Supporting Actress, Best Supporting Actor, Best Cinematography, Best Film Editing, Best Production Design, Costume Design, Original Song, and Original Score for Robbie Robertson, who's not with us anymore, who
R.I.P.
died right after the release of this film. And the longest collaborator for Scorsese other than Thomas Schoonmaker.
Wait, it didn't get adapted?
No.
Interesting.
Although, is that 10? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about Killers of the Flower Moon. Based on the,
The book.
what's the name of the author?
Novel.
Eric Roth and Scorsese, and we heard a rumor about a rewrite, which I'll get into right now.
Dude, I also need to.
Let's just spin around really quick if you want to do rapid fire on ratings.
Yeah. But I was going to say what it's about. The film's about.
Oh, yeah,
sorry.
Essentially, yeah.
So the film's about, it is based on a novel from
David Gran is the author of the book.
David Grant, 1920s?
But what's the book?
2017.
What's the book?
1917 was the book.
Oh, wait.
No, when it was released.
Oh, it says here April 18th. No, that can't be right.
Anyways, on the older side, it's essentially tackling the erasing, essentially, of the...
It's a strong, heavy...
dear God, how am I...
Native American.
But the
No,
specific,
yeah,
the
dude,
Osage tribe.
the book
The
came out in
Osage, yeah.
2017.
The book came out 2017. There's another book that it was based on. Anyways, so essentially, yeah, the erasing, the eradication,
The
Yep.
gentrification.
the gentrification, the eradication, the straight up murders of the Osage people in the early 1900s into the 1920s. Essentially, David Graham's book really covers that part of American history, the underbelly of American history, where we see white people seeing the oil money. The Osage were the richest people per capita in the world at that time. And you see people moving to Oklahoma wanting a piece of that, essentially. The biggest question that this film poses is, was Molly and Ernest's love real, or was he in it for the money? And you can believe both sides to an extent, right? Both sides are true to an extent. But it's humanity at its finest, how we fuck things up, the true evil in a character like Bob De Niro's character, evil incarnate. And it's just a terrific depiction of, again, the underbelly of American history that nobody wants to talk about. Which is why we ended up where we're at. And why Native Americans feel like they don't have a place in this country despite the fact that it's theirs. So yeah, it's just a great depiction of that. I think this film, to an extent, hasn't been getting the credit it deserves.
What
And
do you mean?
it's not just because it's a Scorsese film. I think this is some of the most special storytelling at a massive scale that we've seen in a while. But let's go around and give ratings.
You want to start off?
Sure. I put this film...
Man, what do I put this film at?
Again, we're talking about the Oscars.
We're talking about cinema.
We're talking about the Oscars, and we're talking about cinema, and just comparatively what it's up against. It's not my favorite of the year, but
This one?
it's not.
Oppenheimer?
No, we'll get there. It's not my favorite of the year, but it does have a lot to say, and I think cinematically, this is just a key example of how Scorsese, at 84 years old, is still telling amazing stories and still fucking kicking on all cylinders and not getting enough credit for that either, because people are just bitching that his films are too long or that he whatever, that he should be cut by the studios, that his budgets are inflated, whatever you want.
Or is it one of those things that
he's fucking earned it?
Yeah, or is it one of those things that we're just used to it, that it's kind of like, he's going into these realms?
I don't think so. I think he still has originality. But anyways, my whole thing with that is I don't think this is the best film in his filmography, but I think it was an extremely powerful film. I think it's very cinematic, and it's the definition of cinematic as something like this. And for those reasons, I put it at a 9. I think this film's at a 9. For me. I don't think it quite blew my mind. I mean, even Oppenheimer blew my mind a little more than this one. But again, man, I love to see an exploration of the human condition. And part of the exploration of the human condition is the evil in humans. And that people are so afraid to really dig deep into that on multiple, kind of scales. So I'll keep going later, but let's go this way.
I'll probably give it a 9.2.
9.2.
Yeah, man, because
I'm the
I
same.
fell in love with the characters. DiCaprio, De Niro, Gladstone. They each have their own arcs that are amazing. I mean, I think De Niro really came back. He had kind of lost. He was doing some weird movies. And to come
I
back
feel
with
like I
this type
hadn't
of
seen him
role-
this good since like Silver Linings Playbook.
Yeah, and then when was that? Like 13,
10
14?
years, yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Then, you got DiCaprio. He's getting a lot of hate because he kind of went the dumb route.
I adamantly
Me neither.
disagree with that.
There was a good arc to his character.
Everybody just wants to see him play fucking Jordan Belfort, man, and that's not fair. It's really.
And we
not
kind of
fair.
saw that, a different Don't Look Up.
Yeah, you see, I like that role. I
It's
like that
different.
Leo's thinking that way. I like that he's taking more risks, and he's like, I don't want to be the hero anymore. I want to be a piece of shit guy who's like,
And I'll be
who
honest.
you want to root for, but he's making it hard to root for him. I mean, I love that Leo's thinking this way right now.
Yeah, and his character was so good that the first 20 minutes I was like, oh, what is it? You never go full. You know what I'm saying? But his character's amazing. Story's amazing. I like the whole history of it, the Osage.
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 Osage. This guy saw something there. Osage. My apologies.
Osage.
No, but I love learning about the history, the roots of those Indians.
Yeah.
And Marty can't do any wrong either.
While we're on you, guys, I really want to ask. I think Lily Gladstone is a standout. I think she's terrific. I do feel like I have more of a favorite performance than somebody else this year, but I think she should get the recognition, man. I think she's terrific
With what she did, like let me rephrase that.
with what she
With
had
what
to work
little,
with.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What little she had.
Yeah. Not just that, man, but it's hard. Look at who she's next to.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
You
like,
got to match that fucking energy, right? You got to match that performance. And I think she outshined both veteran actors in this film. I do think she outshined both of them. I mean, maybe Bob De Niro
Yeah, I was gonna say
was
that.
in there, but even, dude, you're going to go to toe-to-toe with Bob De Niro in one of his better roles in the last 20 years? Yo, that's...
How long was this movie? 3 hours? 2.5?
3:15, I think. 3 hours 15.
It was one of the only films that had me on the edge of my seat all 3 hours.
The pacing was amazing in this
Amazing.
picture. Amazing in this picture. Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
I just
Yeah,
want to.
yeah.
We'll get more into
Yeah,
the
yeah.
acting of it, but let's get into
Which is
ratings.
why I'm saying Thelma's gonna get a statue for this.
Another statue, third statue, I think. Is
Would it be her third?
third or fourth?
Oh no, I'd have to look that up.
She won for Wolf of Wall Street, for The Departed, and I think for Raging Bull.
I'll check it right now.
What about for Shark Tale?
She didn't do.
She was close.
Marty
Makes
was
you
in
feel
it.
any better. Leo and De Niro and Scorsese were in Shark Tale.
They
What
were.
was Leo?
Oh, you're right. Will Smith. You're
Will
right.
Smith,
No,
Will
it wasn't
Smith,
Leo.
yeah.
It should have been Leo.
Keep his wife's name.
What?
Keep Leo's name out
Does,
your...
is
Fucking
De
ma-
Niro in Shark Tale?
He is.
Yeah.
Who?
He's the. He is. He's one of the sharks. He's one of the big sharks. He is. De Niro is in Shark Tale, I think.
Yeah, no, De Niro is like the Papa Shark, but
Yeah.
I mean, like, is his brother Lee? I don't think.
No, it's not Leo. No, I was
Yeah, he's
wrong.
messing around with
I was
Leo.
wrong, I
So,
was wrong.
anyways, give me.
That's Marty. Marty is.
I mean, I'd give Shark Tale like an
Go
8.3.
rate it.
So no, Thelma's won for Departed, Raging Bull, and Aviator.
Aviator.
So I do think she's getting her fourth statue with this one.
Aviator. They called it.
Yeah, but the film as a whole, give it a 9.3.
Oh, 9.3.
Same.
Nice.
Yeah.
Damn, you guys are all higher than me.
De Niro did amazing. Gladstone
Yeah.
did good. Even Plemons did pretty damn good.
Clemens is pretty good.
You know
I
who I
forgot.
also really enjoyed was the I don't know if he was an FBI agent or not, but he was kind of like undercover as a Native American as well.
Oh, the dude with the ponytail.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was really good.
I really liked
He
him.
did
I
really
couldn't
good.
tell if he was part of the FBI or was just helping him.
He
or-
was. He was undercover.
Yeah.
He was
He was
Okay.
undercover.
So him,
But he
and-
was technically not Osage. Like he's part of
Yeah.
another
Yeah, that's
tribe.
why
that
they
comes
said,
into-
"Oh, he's coming in
Yeah.
from this other tribe,
Yeah.
and he's
Yeah.
looking for family here
Yeah.
from the for." The
By the
Osage."
way, fun fact: we were supposed to talk to Jesse Plemons at the Las Cruces International Film Festival, and when they announced his casting in this film, that's why he bailed.
He had to bail,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
no, but yeah, I thought they did great. I wish Brendan Fraser would have had a little bit more.
that was an
and-
interesting role.
No, and
It
that was
fun.
also
Wow, I
before the
forgot,
whale,
yeah.
right? Or before the whale was
It
like,
was, I think,
Right before the whale.
right before the whale shooting wise.
yeah.
Yeah.
So very
Yeah, 'cause
interesting
they were-
that like a lot of people were giving, and I forget the
They,
director's
by the
name.
way, people are panning his performance in this.
What?
People thought he went over the top.
Oh my god.
People thought he was
De Niro?
a foghorn leghorn in his performance. Like people are really they're panning his performance,
Actually-
and it's like, dude, it's go watch To Kill a Mockingbird, Gregory
Yeah.
Peck. Go watch 12 Angry Men.
There we
like,
go.
These courtroom dramas. These are these
Yeah.
like big characters. I mean, they have to put on the show. They're lawyers, you know.
Yeah.
But I
anyways.
am a little upset this didn't get nominated for adapted though.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. I mean, it's maybe because it went in the really
guess
different
that's
direction of the
true,
Or
book.
yeah.
because
It
it's got
rewrote,
10 fucking
like-
nominations.
No, but like I mean, Barbie got adapted, and the only reason it got adapted is because it's based off a franchise.
Nah, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, I'm with you. It should, but
Yeah.
maybe it's because of
Maybe
that.
it's that, yeah.
Maybe it's because of
No,
that.
but
Because the
yeah.
original book is way different.
Yeah.
Way different.
No, but for editing, yeah, it's mainly the pacing, the fact that we cover like almost 30 year, no, not that long, maybe
About
like
20 years, about 20.
About 20 years. It
Maybe a
doesn't
little
feel
less
like
than
it.
that.
Anybody I speak to, they don't feel like this film's 3 hours.
Yeah,
which is-
yeah.
It doesn't.
yeah.
Cool. So 9.2,
Three.
9.3, 9.2.
I
9.
think this definitely has the biggest snub for supporting actor. Jack White.
Jack White
playing
was
the
fun.
random
The random
guy
at the end.
Oh my
I wonder,
God.
he's been in another Scorsese film, right?
Yeah.
Which one was it?
I'm trying to think.
Wolf of Wall Street? Maybe?
Just I don't know. I just want to talk
The
to Jack
Irishman?
White. Like, where are you getting these connections and doing these things?
I have a feeling it's because of Robbie Robertson, man.
Well, any hoozles. I'll give this a 9 point. I'll give this a 9.2.
9.2.
9.2. Super solid. I love the twist at the end. I love
That
anytime a film
ending
can
is fucking
break
amazing.
you away from the story
Yeah.
and put you somewhere else, much like the film that
Can
we
you
just
remind us?
did.
Yeah,
What the ending is?
hands down, my favorite ending of any film.
That right
this
when
year, I mean.
after Lily Gladstone and
Leo.
meet in the room, and then she asks him like, "What
What
did you
put in-
give me?"
Yeah.
You know. And then after that, he's like, "Oh no, it's just medicine." And then she knows, like, "Okay, you're lying to me."
He actively was giving
Yeah.
me this poison, and then we cut. Well, but that's
No,
not
no,
the
yeah, I
impactful
know.
part.
No,
We
no.
cut.
That's what I was gonna get to.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we get to the point where then they cut, and then it's a like
Akira
radio.
Kurosawa, Fellini ending.
Yeah, it's,
Oh
it's
my
basically
gosh,
a
it's
radio
so great. Play.
a radio play,
Yeah.
recounting the whole event. And then
That
it's
is pretty
and,
cool.
and it's
Yeah, I do
like
remember. It's got-
years later.
I was thinking the Marty thing.
But oh yeah, well I mean that's where we get up to.
Marty's
it's
never
years later.
taken this kind of a risk, man, and I love it. I love it so much. I love that
No,
he did.
he said like the ending really
The
stuck with
ending
him.
really stuck with me, and
I
then
love
it was
your
just
emotion, bro.
minimalizing. It was like all of us wanting to see this impact. Was she gonna fucking slap him? Is
Yeah,
she gonna
exactly.
leave him?
No,
Is she
and
gonna
we were all-
take the kids? Are we gonna know? We're gonna minimize this story to entertainment of the
Yeah.
time. We're
Because
gonna
they even like mention a sponsor, a random sponsor.
around where the cigarettes, the cigarette
Yeah.
company.
Yeah.
Like it was some fucking Tarantino film or something, right? Like this is sponsored by Red Apple Cigarettes or whatever.
I remember,
and
yeah.
it's still impactful because they did a number of things, and I'll go very quickly through them. They did a number of things with this ending. They minimized the story in American entertainment. Okay, you're not going to pay attention to this until I pull out all the bells and whistles.
Right.
This is the only way
Literally.
you'll pay attention. Yeah. This is the only way you will pay attention to this is if I make pretty funny little sounds and get you engaged and get these different voice actors that'll do something for you. And on top of that, the impactful reading of Marty's cameo of he had to be the voice to come out and say,
Exactly.
read the obituary.
By the
And-
way, that was his second or third cameo in the movie.
well, a
Second.
physical cameo.
I
His
just
voice,
thought
he
that
had
was
voice
fun.
cameos, but I thought it was just extremely powerful to be like, not only is this a commentary on how American people consume important stories, it's an important commentary on you guys don't care. You guys are paying attention to the story only because it's entertaining, not because you care about what happened to this people. I mean, it's just so much wrapped up in that ending and not just that, the additional cherry on top of an ending where we're going in a circle to pull us out of the film of the Osage crying and wailing
yeah.
and singing and the heartbeat of the people continuing
yeah.
on and pushing on. It was just
No, yeah.
so powerful, man. This ending is going to be talked about cinematically for years to come. Mark my words. But it was my favorite ending of any film this year.
Yeah.
Terrific
No,
ending.
and I feel like just the fact that it's bringing a topic. Again, we're talking about so many films this year that are having strong conversations about representation. And this one,
Yeah, yeah.
I love the way that the big cap was kind of like, as much as you want this to be a fun movie that you go and see and you're really entertained by, this didn't have a positive ending. Lily Gladstone's character died later on. Robert De Niro's character
lived to be fucking old and got out of
Yeah.
prison and shit. And then Ernest went and lived with his brother who was
In
a
a
murderer.
trailer park. Yeah.
By the way, the only thing this film didn't have that I think people wanted, that this is the difference. I don't think once did this thing say based on the true story, which it was, right? So it didn't need that. That's not what good cinema is. It doesn't have to pander to, ooh, this actually happened. It's like, no, motherfucker, this actually happened. Pay attention. We talked about the acting. We talked about the editing. We talked about the cinematography a little bit because I think they created a film stock just for this film. I mean, and
amazing
Oppenheimer
that
did the
shit
same
like that
thing,
happened.
but
Yeah.
just Rodrigo Prieto, I think, is a massive cinematic voice, man.
I mean, one of the big mentions for cinematography, along with trying to create tonality and everything, you're also talking about the challenge of documenting and filming a 3-hour-long film. Any cinematographer who's able to like craft these looks where it's not repetitive, it's not overly used. There was plenty of shots that had so much intentionality to show the power struggles and dynamics between the characters. My favorite of all of them being the moment when Ernest is talking to Lily Gladstone's character on the bed and saying, you need to take this medicine, and he's standing up and standing as a strong figure. And in that moment, it's this weird dynamic of like, she's disadvantaged and she has to like, as much as she's financially supporting Ernest's character, she also is depending on like the white people coming in to be their savior. And I mean, I just felt like, oh my God. Also, the part of the cinematography where we see the fire burning in the background.
Phenomenal.
And, which one?
Picture.
Oh, dude, I love that scene.
Where the yard is burning. King.
So like all the FBI agents get into a yard.
Oh,
And is like, oh, fire insurance guy, you got some work to do in the morning.
Because it's an insurance scam.
Yeah, exactly.
Even
And the
it's
next
like it's like a thing on using the elements for your greed.
Yeah.
You know, it's so powerful, and the figures in the shadow.
Oh yeah, demons and all that kind of stuff.
Man,
These demons
so
burning and
good.
everything.
By the way, Rodrigo Prieto said, I heard a podcast with him. He did like a 2-hour podcast with Mark Maron. Terrific conversation. He was saying that him and Scorsese were like, let's pick a moment in the film. Let's pick one moment in the film. We're going to have a drastic change in the cinematography. And what ends up happening is they use grain up until the point of where the house of the sister blows up. And then from there, we're not going to use grain. We're going to be as sharp as we possibly can, because we want people to see clear. Now you get to be the judge.
It's taking us out of nostalgia.
Yeah, it's taking us.
And
Yeah.
because if you remember at the very beginning, it was almost like this. Hey, here's a tale from the Old West, where they even show like pictures of real rich natives from the time.
No. Well, yes, they did, but the footage.
Yeah.
The footage that they shot on Marty's personal camera that they gifted him, this old Bell & Howe Super 8 camera, crank camera that Marty took from his house, and they actually like Panasonic or Kodak. Somebody helped them rebuild it so that it can work again, and they actually shot the footage on Scorsese's little camera, little crank camera.
And again, it's like
perfect.
this, like this moment where it's an old tale from the West. But then once we get to that moment where it's like, oh, now there's real scrutiny. Now there's like, let's really interrogate the characters and see like, hey, this now
Color shift.
Yeah. Color shift everything. I mean, and again, that was like the act break also, right? Because that's when we're starting to get to the point of like, it's a courtroom drama.
Yeah.
By the way, the separation for this film, we only have a little time to talk about it.
By the way, I have a theory.
No, this deserves its time.
But the separation for this film, where at first we're doing this like interesting recounting of Ernest and Ernest's character getting together with what's the character's name?
Ernest with
The guy that blows up the house?
No, the girl.
Lily Gladstone?
Lily Gladstone character. What's her name?
Pay attention.
No.
The hand crank.
Oh,
There it is.
wow.
That's so great.
just to get that footage, man.
Well, anyway, just to say that the way that they broke it up in 3 individual stories, everything from like the love first starting to the murders, and then at the very end, the courtroom drama. Each of those were their own
the dissipation
film,
of
and
everything.
It was just this wonderful balance. So yeah, definitely for editing, if this gets it, fantastic. I think.
Which ones do you think?
I think
Film
it has
editing?
a strong
I think
shot
it's
for
Best
best
Picture.
picture.
Supporting
and,
Best
actor.
actor, sadly, it's not going to get.
for supporting actress.
It's
Actor.
not supporting, it's
Actor.
actress.
Actress.
It's a best actress, right? Lily Gladstone has the strongest shot, I
Okay.
think. I think she has the strongest shot.
Hey, you don't think De Niro?
Film
No,
editing.
actress.
Oh, yeah.
Actress. I think
Cinematography, I think it has a strong chance,
Yeah.
but I
What would
Barbie.
you put above this for cinematography? I don't know.
Barbie thing.
Poor Things or Oppenheimer.
Poor Things. Really?
Yeah. Super experimental. In the way
Yeah.
it's
artsy,
because
artsy.
but yeah.
But intentionality.
yes.
I would put this over that
Dude,
for intentionality.
No.
For intentionality.
Wrong. Okay, next film
We'll talk about Poor Things right now.
up. The next film,
Maestro.
directed by, not written by, right?
Written by.
Written by and directed by Bradley Copperson. No, but didn't you tell me that somebody else wanted to work on this film first, and then they passed it?
Josh Singer and Bradley
Yeah,
Cooper
there's
wrote
no
it.
way.
That was a producer thing.
There's no way Bradley Cooper wrote it, started
No,
it.
wasn't
It was
this
a producer thing.
Scorsese and Spielberg?
Spielberg,
first?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'm sorry. So we're gonna talk about Maestro, directed by Bradley Cooper, starring Bradley Cooper and Carey Mulligan. Has 7 nominations this year for Best Picture, Best Actor, Best
Yes.
Actress, Best Original Screenplay, Best Cinematography, Best Sound, and Best Makeup and Hairstylings. Oh my God, this is definitely a big highlight of this year. I mean,
Yeah.
when we watched it, it was kind of like if it won for Best Picture, Best Cinematography, any of these categories, I don't think
Actress. I
any
think
of us
she-
would be upset. Like, we'd be surprised and shocked, but
Oh, her smile, dude. Just
She was great. She
great,
always
dude.
is.
yeah.
She's always amazing in everything.
yeah.
I just think that Carey Mulligan gets a weird thing. She gets the Michelle Williams kind of effect, where
What you mean?
she's just such a good actress that she can do no wrong, and people automatically think she's good. That's something I dislike. I think each film is singular. I think you should base your judgment on that performance alone, not how good of an actor they are.
I guess to a certain extent, yeah.
You know, so I think this film is an example of that. I think she's terrific in it.
She kind of stole some of the scenes, man.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
was-
but I don't think she was better than other actresses like Emma Stone, for instance.
Yeah, this year.
So-
no, yeah, I'll give you that.
Carlos, do you want to break down the story?
Sure. This is essentially based on the life and legacy of Leonard Bernstein, an amazing composer, conductor, just writer of music, and involved in so many pieces of art. For example, writing the music for West Side Story, which we a lot of Broadway plays, but also concertos, and just an amazing career.
I mean,
Right.
really, he was an artist for the time being. But,
Oh, yeah.
Damn, that's actually pretty
I was
good.
gonna do a good impression of him, and I mean, just led an amazing life, and at the same time, amazing arcs in terms of his relationships that ended up being true. The exploration of his bisexuality,
I'm a bit of a homosexual, if you know what I mean.
and
Anybody wants
the
some coke?
arc of his relationship with his wife as well. So it just breaks down all of that. You know, not just a career in music,
God.
music, motion pictures, and plays, but also the dynamics of his family life, of his sexual exploration. This film covers just a ton.
I think it's gonna win all those 7
I
nominations.
think it's not going to win any of them,
Whoa.
except makeup and hairstyling.
Always better when makeup.
yeah.
Oh, for
Which
makeup,
one?
yeah.
Which one would? Except for that one, yeah.
Like
portions.
you see the subtlety in the way that they change his makeup over the film. And I mean,
Yeah.
it's super impressive.
Yeah.
And then, especially looking at the very end, like that comparison with the actual Leonard Bernstein. And
The more that I've
God,
sat
it's
with this
just-
film,
yeah.
the more that I've sat with this film, the more that I feel like this isn't adapted. This is original. I feel like this would be adapted.
No, there's no memoir or anything.
No, there's not an autobiography, but there is biography that I think he used as research. But anyways, the more I sit with this film, the
Yeah,
more
it's original.
it's original. The more I feel like, number one, your sophomore film should not be this good. You should not be this good on your
Exactly.
second go round, Bradley Cooper. But he was also backed up by Steven Spielberg and Martin Scorsese on the making of this picture. You know,
Wow.
And the cinematographer was Deakins, or
no, the cinematographer is Matthew Libatique.
Oh,
who's
yeah, Libatique.
phenomenal. And then he also used him in A Star Is Born. But Libatique is Darren Aronofsky guy. Like he did Black Swan, Requiem for a Dream.
yeah,
Star
the
is Born.
whale.
He actually did The Prom. It was actually a fun little musical.
He did the whale.
He did the well. Yeah, Darren Aronofsky. That's what I'm
Birds of
saying.
Prey.
Birds of Prey.
He
Oh
also,
my God,
he also
yeah.
did Olivia Wilde's Don't Worry, Darling. Yeah.
Very
The
dynamic
Circle.
guy.
So
Venom, yeah.
The Circle.
Eller's worked with him on. He worked with him on The Circle.
Straight out of Compton.
Noah.
Cinematographer.
Again, he's
Very
kind
dynamic.
of
But Aronofsky.
Mike
Darren
Tyson.
Aronofsky's go-to guy. But yeah. What's his name? What's his name?
Iron Man.
John Favreau. Yeah, he did Favreau's
Dude, he
pictures,
did
Cowboys and
Ruby Sparks.
Aliens, and Iron Man's.
He did Ruby
He's done a
Sparks.
lot.
He did Ruby Sparks. One of
Yeah,
my favorite
man.
But
films.
very super
Just
dynamic
super dynamic.
cinematography in this film.
A lot of great
Oh
things. A
my
lot of great things.
God.
Yeah. The cinematography was amazing. When I think about this film, I think about the cinematography more than I think about anything. But the more I
Besides-
sit, the more I sit with it, yeah, the directing is phenomenal. Bradley Cooper shot himself in the foot in the end.
Why?
The
Because
film should have ended at the piano. The film should have ended at the piano. I understand. We're gonna see the postscriptum
haven't thought about
of
that.
his life after his wife's death and his sexual freedom, and it just took me out of the story so badly. That section.
I think we all were talking after we watched the film. We're like, like when he ends on that statement, and Austin.
Any questions?
Yeah. Where he says, "Any questions?" But I rewatched it recently, and I thought it did end there.
No.
So, are you sure?
After that, we cut into the 80s music and the car driving in.
Wait. So when does it end? When does the film end?
The club. He's like
That's the
dancing in the
ending?
club. Yeah.
yeah,
Oh my god!
exactly.
If you could just fact check that again, but yeah, no, I remember that being a big kind of gripe about the film is just it ended on that really, and again, it's trying to complete the arc of this character because
And he's a human being, a real person.
Yeah,
so that's tough, right?
because it's trying to show that like.
But we
his
saw
growth.
that already. We saw that, right?
No,
I know,
but
I
I
know.
don't think it hurts it. Like,
It does, dude. It had
hurts
the
it.
biggest punch when he said
It hurts it.
any
Any
questions, and
questions?
you're just
Cut to
looking
black.
at him.
Boom.
No, but you're looking at him for like a solid 3 seconds
yeah.
before they get you out of that. And those moments are so powerful, especially where I think afterwards they do have a image of his wife when she was younger, and
That was a kind of cool little homage to the Great Train Robbery and kind of like looking dead into the camera.
yeah.
Of like,
Oh, wow.
closest, so,
oh
you know.
my god, fantastic. But yeah, I do think that kind of put it in a weird place. I will say that it's just up against so many great things.
Here we are.
Oh
Here
my
we are.
god. So yeah, it's up against so many great things this year that it is that kind of weird bag of like you could be.
It's always is.
I mean, I would. If this surprised us, I wouldn't be mad because it's just such a good film,
And it's okay, and that's what I mean. Like that's the interesting factor of this. That ending doesn't destroy the film, so it does end with that.
It does end with that. The only reason I think it feels kind of jarring is because the scene before was like, oh, okay, dude, like your wife died. Let's go back to this. Let's forget that whole education.
Because that's
part
where
and
we
everything.
started, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that's where we didn't start there per se, but that's where the tonality of the film really starts to take its structure with this interview, and it's anchored around this interview. And I
Yeah.
think it would have been just a strong kind of thing.
I think if they had skipped the teaching scene,
Yeah.
if they had skipped the
Oh.
The
teaching
teaching
scene,
scene was okay.
Yeah.
no, but then that's where it transitioned to the next scene. and
That's
then
what I'm saying. The
when-
teaching was okay. I didn't love the club stuff.
Yeah.
Any questions?
Yeah, see, so it does end there.
Okay.
But yeah,
It cuts to like his wife,
Yeah, which is great. That's great.
and then that's where it ends.
Okay.
because I remember rewatching it and thinking like, oh, why did they end there? But no, I think it's that whole jarring.
Maybe it's just the jarring factor,
Tone,
right?
the
Yeah.
tone shifts. Oh my god! But fantastic movie.
Terrific.
I
Terrific.
also think there is a small bit of conversation to be added in towards the fact that Netflix and these streamers are doing such a heavy hit as far as being like, we're going to really fund these films, put good
By the
people
way,
behind it.
80 million was the budget.
80 mil.
80 mil.
This thing
And
had
how
been
much did
in-
it make in the net office? Or I'm kidding.
It doesn't matter, but with streaming, it never matters anymore,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
but
exactly. I was
but
gonna say that.
essentially, no, it did get a theatrical run. It was very limited.
383,000.
Yeah, it was like 2 weeks or something ridiculous. But because even the Oscar rules have changed. But what I think is interesting is that this thing has been in development for like 7 years,
That's in.
and like obviously, like I said, Spielberg was supposed to direct it. He handed it off to Marty. Marty was going to
Yeah, he
direct it,
told
and
him,
then
yeah.
they both saw A Star Is Born, and they were like, "Huh, maybe Bradley."
Yeah.
And pass it on to him. But
I know we already killed about half the time, but let's just quick fire ratings. So, do you want to go first?
yeah,
Just quick
sure.
fire. Just give the rating.
Yeah, I'm at about a 9 also for this. I think that the ending those scenes don't sully the whole picture. The picture is extremely strong. It's extremely cinematic. It does play into the arc of this real human being very well. And I love that it focuses on his arc as a human and not his career per se. His
yeah.
career was a backdrop.
You know, kind of resembles Queen, Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah.
Where he's kind of like struggling with
Yeah.
the.
It's very character driven because
Exactly.
Extremely
we
character-driven.
know. I think that's the interesting thing about these like biographies. We know what happened to the real person, and
Yeah.
if you need to look at like their trajectory, career wise, and everything, that's fine. But then when the question becomes, where's the real story?
Yeah. What I
the
thought-
real story's in his marriage,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that's why you even look at the poster. you
What
know?
I thought the
That's why
special thing about this film also is Bradley was trying to be extremely authentic in his storytelling and his fidelity with the character. And what he did was his daughters, Leonard Bernstein's daughters, were directly involved with the making of this picture. He had them attached and said, "Hey, we're
Rightfully so,
gonna
yeah.
go full fledged. I'm not gonna hide anything about your dad. I'm gonna tell all of his story." And they were like, "Yeah, and we'll be there to fact check you, and we'll be there to give you all of our knowledge about the man we knew." And they even the house that they filmed at, the original house, where he's playing the piano, that was Leonard Bernstein's actual house that the daughters
even
let him
adds to it.
film in,
Fuck
and
yeah.
the authenticity factor of that side of things. So it was a terrific picture, man. And like I said, Bradley Cooper could stop acting and solely direct if he wanted to. I hope he doesn't, because he's phenomenal in both. But man, he really had to trust his AD on this one. He really had to trust Lee Batik because his performance didn't suffer
At
due to the
all.
fact that he directed an amazing picture.
Yeah.
I mean, the scene I always revert back to is the church scene. When he's
And that's
conducting inside the church and
big
just
Dude.
it's phenomenal.
crescendo,
Yeah.
right?
Fuck, man. I almost got
He had just fought with his wife because he got caught essentially with another man, and
No, but now that was after the phone call of like, okay, I'll call your mom and I'll try to make things right and stuff like that. Like,
but we don't know if they talk or not until we see her there.
Yeah.
She's revealed through the cinematography.
Yeah.
Standing in the back, almost celebrating, still playing the part of the wife publicly at least. And
No, and then also
man,
That's
the
nice.
whole
That's-
thing about like being in the what is it called, like a cathedral,
yeah.
and seeing him, and he
Oh my
is
gosh.
really this like Cooper
Enigma.
really demands this godly performance,
Yeah.
and where it's like, yeah, no,
And they
like,
thought that shot up that day. They didn't plan that shot. And
Really?
it's
because
phenomenal,
the
man.
fun note was that originally they were going to do it on
Steady with like 3 different cameras.
yeah, and then they ended up-
And then they were like,
no.
we have a crane sitting outside for the next shot. And that Bradley himself was like bringing the crane
Yeah,
in.
dude.
Because it wasn't a huge, but
probably-
it was,
yeah, it
but they
was-
also this was an actual very old cathedral that they had to be extremely careful in to not break anything.
Yeah.
It wasn't soundstage, it was the actual location. And again, it's hard to replicate that, man. It's hard to replicate things that were actually filmed or photographed.
to
With
me,
again,
that shot is going to be infamous for
Yeah,
a very
it's a
big
fantastic
while. There is
thing.
something so like godly about the cinematography and the way it flows and the way it really builds you up all the way
Yeah.
from seeing the people that he's about to conduct to seeing his performance to seeing the scale of everything
Yeah.
and then coming back down to the intimate level between
what
him
I
and his
think
wife. You
is
know?
very special too about
Yeah.
the cinematography is the trajectory we see. We're going essentially from he's a guy in his 20s all the way to his old age, right?
Yeah.
So I love the life and movement in the openings where he's falling in love with
That's
conducting.
true because I
and-
thought the whole film was going to be like
and
that.
it wasn't, right?
Yeah.
We slow down as he slows down, and we get more focused as he gets more focused in the cinematography. But the first ones, it's like camera angles from the top of the
Yeah, it's
stage,
very jumpy and bouncy and almost experimental,
And
and-
it's so, and then we get a little more, focused.
My God.
It's phenomenal cinematography by
Yeah.
Matthew Libatique. He's terrific. As long as he doesn't continue to beat people up in foreign countries and get arrested for it, I think he'll be
Let
all
him
right.
do what he does,
was in
as long as
prison,
he
man,
does
like
this,
in the
man.
Ukraine or Russia or
well, that's where he
something.
gets his
I think it was in
inspiration.
Russia. He was in prison for a while.
Let's okay. So 9. We'll just
I'm a 9.
Spitfire.
I'm a 9.
Spitfire. I'll go 9.3 just because of Bradley Cooper.
It's performance.
Yeah, I did not see Bradley Cooper in Lenny at all.
Yeah,
at the very
yeah,
end.
absolutely.
I was like, the voice that this guy just made, I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah, absolutely.
I dream for roles like that. I want,
Yeah.
quick fire.
Phenomenal,
Yeah.
phenomenal.
Phenomenal.
And by the way, to point out that though Rami Malek did extremely well as a performer, he won the Oscar for it.
Right.
We haven't had a really good biopic in a long time. Like, this is a fucking
That's
great
true. I was
biopic.
gonna say, like, I
We've had
haven't
shitty little rinky-dink biopics for the past 10 years.
Yeah,
Also,
This is phenomenal.
for like directing a film
Yeah.
and acting in it.
Well,
Another
adding to
one
it,
that came
exactly.
out this year, I forgot it was like called. It's not Terminal, but there was one film that just came out recently with like these old rom-com duo. Did you hear about it? It's like they're at an airport.
I saw the trailer for it. Yeah.
And my parents watched it, and basically the actress.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
She also starred and directed, but it was one of those like.
You could see it.
It was
Yeah,
trying to play into like the Bollywood style, no?
I was trying to play into like the classic like '90s like rom-coms, you know.
Okay.
But it was trying to. Anyway, we're
No,
not
but
talking
yeah,
about
that's
that
a good
film.
point. I mean, for
It's
him
so
to
hard.
have all these
Yeah.
hats and still pull off this masterpiece of a
Yeah.
performance.
Beautiful.
I mean, I
Prep,
think
man. He talks a lot about
Bradley
prep.
Cooper got into my
If
list.
you haven't gone, go to YouTube and see all the interviews that he did with Netflix. Put them on their YouTube with Guillermo del Toro, with Alfonso Cuarón, and with Steven Spielberg.
Yeah.
About the making of this film. My gosh, man! Like he'll tell you, like prep is God, and the only reason this film is what it is because I
That is a
spent
perfect
7 years
definition.
in prep.
That's
you know,
a perfect definition of
yeah,
it.
so it's terrific. Austin Spitfire.
9.6.
Shit or get off the pot.
Yeah.
Oh,
Damn,
Spitfire!
bro.
I have to Spitfire. You give your
I heard
rating
a
and go on a
mouse
rant
fart,
for
bro. God,
like
Yeah, you
6
said
minutes.
Spitfire.
He just said it.
What was it?
9.6.
Yeah.
Oh wow, really up there.
9.6.
Yeah. Now, do I go on a rant for like 8 minutes before the next person spitfires their rating?
Yeah. You have 35 seconds.
Then
Go
I'll
ahead.
go.
No,
No,
do you
real
have,
quick,
like
like-
No,
what are your
go.
thoughts on
We- no,
editing?
we gotta go.
No.
It is editing?
Is it? A,
No.
It's,
No, it's not.
oh, okay.
Go.
Okay.
No, now you're just doing
I'm
off.
kidding. I'm joking. I'm joking. I'll say 9.4. It
So
was.
you were
it
the
was
lowest
high-
one.
I was the
Okay,
lowest
yeah.
one.
Yeah, no, it's higher up on the list. I think because of the cinematography
cinematography, of
and
course,
a lot of the
of course.
technical aspects.
Yeah.
Very good. I mean, like amazing biopic. It could definitely compete with a lot of the other biopics that are out there that have been made. I feel like in exploring character and exploring the history of a person, in the like again the tonality shifts, experimental design. It's a fantastic film. I really do hope that this stands the test of time as far as being able to show that great cinema can still be made, because I know that that's like a conversation of like, well, are we really making great cinema, or is this just like good cinema for the time?
By somebody
You know?
who has his head on his shoulders, man. And Bradley Cooper's produced other really good films. You know, he produced The Joker, for instance.
Yeah.
And he's
Because
Todd
of
Phillips'
the
kind of
Hangover
go-to
guy.
guy. Like, yeah, Todd Phillips produced his film, A Star Is Born. And,
Exactly.
You know, so he's been a part of it. And the reason he said is, quite frankly, the only real reason I acted for this long is because I wanted to learn at the feet of the masters. So I got into acting so I can learn directing. That's all
And
he
that's
did
what
it
he
for.
did.
That's what he says. You know, so it's pretty special. That's pretty special. I mean,
What was his first role? I remember him from
he was like in Friends or
Wedding
something
Crashers.
else. Yeah.
Remember that guy?
Yeah.
To this? Man, dude, this guy definitely
Talk about
jumped.
growth, right?
Yeah. So Oppenheimer.
Yeah, Austin is going back to his student film
Sex
days.
in the City.
Oh,
I knew it
let's
was
talk
like
about
one of
that
those
one,
shows.
dude. I was waiting to talk about Sex in the City.
Wet Hot American Summer, really?
I've never seen that one. People have been telling me to see it.
Yeah.
All right, so
Wow.
this is
Oh
On
my
to the
goodness.
next.
this is
Alrighty,
Austin's-
Oppenheimer.
Please, Austin, no, please announce it because
Are you guys ready to rumble?
Are you ready to rock?
I'm ready to get my mind blown.
In Nagasaki.
Yeah.
Are you ready for this?
You know,
New Mexico.
you know, it's funny.
funny.
I actually had my honeymoon in Japan, so let's not bomb that.
All right, Oppenheimer,
Had,
directed by
was it
the.
past tense?
Had? You been married?
Yeah. I was 5 years old. It was crazy. No, it's a quote from the movie where like they were gonna like pick a city to bomb. And he's like,
joking.
"Open up there."
I'm joking.
I don't remember that.
You don't remember that? It was a big thing, and they were saying like that's not historically accurate, but it adds to like the tone of the film.
That's cool.
Austin, please read off.
No, I
the-
genuinely didn't. I
the-
didn't remember that.
Oppenheimer, directed by the one and only Christopher Nolan,
Okay.
starring Cillian Murphy,
Okay.
Robert Downey Jr.,
Come on.
and Emily Blunt.
Blunt.
Emily.
Emily,
Blunt.
13 nominations.
Emily Bunny Blunts.
13
13. Is that the most?
Yeah, I
Yes.
think it's the most nominated film
Wow.
of the year.
Picture, director, cinematography, actor, supporting actress, supporting actor, film editing, production design, costume design, adaptive screenplay, makeup and hairstyle, sound, and original score.
Damn, my voice changed.
It's gonna win at least.
It really did.
8 of these.
8? Which ones?
It's gonna
Best
win.
picture.
No, it's gonna win best director.
Okay.
13.
It's gonna win best actor. It's
Yes,
gonna win best supporting actor.
Who? Robert?
Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
It's gonna win best
Editing?
costume design.
I give money for.
It's gonna win best sound.
cinematography. I think it has
You
a
think
strong
so?
shot.
That's what I was thinking.
I think it has a really strong shot because I think
Yeah.
the mixture between the black and white with the color, going back to original aesthetics for that time, the experimental shots,
Yeah.
all the like the technical challenge of documenting like the explosion. I know it was like a gas explosion compared to like
Yeah.
a hydrogen one or like whatever it was, but still
Hoyt.
they captured it in a way that was super different than anybody else has captured. Like a nuclear explosion to put the audience in that place. You know, I think for what it did there in cinematography, and again being 3 hours long,
Yeah.
that challenge, it's fantastic.
I
would definitely put money there.
Also on the cinematography front, you know, Christopher Nolan, since The Dark Knight, has been a big advocate of IMAX film cameras. And
True.
What he and James Cameron have done to push the IMAX film format forward is
Forget about it.
Respect.
forget about it. No, yeah, respect to them, man, because they're pushing the medium forward and they're pushing the technology. This, similar to Killers of the Flower Moon, created a film stock, an original IMAX film stock that was never used before this
Yeah.
film. And
The black and white, right?
to you be able to use the black and white.
Yeah.
Use that on IMAX, you know, and IMAX 6-track. Oh no, that's for the sound.
70 millimeter dual laser
Maybe it was one of these. Anyways,
xenon single
film
laser.
stock, and they shot on 65 also for a good chunk of that film. But
Look at how many different aspect ratios they put
I know.
together.
That's what I'm
think
looking
it's-
at, bro.
yeah,
Yeah, super. Just on a cinematography front.
Used
and-
all of
I
it.
didn't
we
even
go to-
see it in IMAX. I saw it in 2351 because well,
No, but it all wasn't in 2351. In fact, if you look at all the ratios,
2351?
none of them were there.
so what was the?
Oh, there.
Yeah, 2351.
35 millimeter print. Yeah.
Yeah, that we saw it in 35. That's what I'm saying. We
Yeah.
saw it in 2351.
Yeah.
And the reason I know that is because 2351 is literally half of IMAX. You double 2351 to get the full IMAX image. So I know that when we saw it in 35, it was that because when you see it in IMAX, you see it in 70 millimeter.
Well,
Anyways,
again, as far as like the challenges, intentionality, everything did. Oh my God. Okay, let's
yeah.
Spitfire ratings, and
Yes.
I'll just give my rating, and then we'll go on. Or Austin, please give your rating first.
Yeah, this is your pick, bro. The Nolan man.
Well, I know my voice changed right now. Is it going to change again?
Oh, it's because you read
Let's
off
see.
the
Let me see. Keep
nominations.
talking.
So
So
you read
so-
off the nominations right now when
Yeah,
he was
yeah.
in real. You monster.
It's a 9.9 for me.
9.9.
I do think it's Nolan's best film.
No.
Yeah.
yeah,
No.
sure.
Yeah, I just haven't, and I'm probably going to get a lot of hate for it. I haven't seen Prestige or Memento yet. Those are the two I'm missing. I've heard really great things about both. Some people even have Prestige as his best.
What about Interstellar?
It's good, but this is better.
We get it. You're McConaughey in space. Shut up.
Nah, man. I've
No, it's a
seen,
terrific picture. I'm with you.
I've seen
Yeah, it's
Interstellar
great.
like 10 times. I don't think I'll see this a second time.
Dude,
Really?
I would
No, I'm not
revisit this
disrespecting it. I
so
love
many
it. I love
times.
it. But it's just not.
Oh, by the way, I know why, Caster. We'll get there. We'll
Yeah,
get
yeah,
there.
go
But
figure it.
9.9.
Yeah, Maestro.
I'll give it a soft 9.
Soft 9.
Just because I don't understand how they got all like an all-star cast, dude. They got
Josh Peck
Yeah, dude.
Oh, that was an Oscar snub.
Josh Hartnett.
Josh
for his
Hartnett.
2
Yeah, there's a
seconds of
lot of
screen
them, dude.
time.
But
Oh Christ!
just for the main reason for Cillian Murphy.
Killian Murphy.
Cillian?
Killian.
No,
Cillian?
Cillian.
It's Killian,
It's Cillian,
jackasses. He's
It just
Irish.
depends where
It's
you're at.
Killian.
No, man, he's really good, man. I've seen him in a couple, and with
Yeah.
this one, he just.
You know which films I haven't seen? I'm
Which
kind
one?
of ashamed. The 28 Days Later films.
That's where the
That's
first
where you
time I
know.
saw him.
Yeah.
Really?
I've never seen him.
And he doesn't really talk. This was one of those.
Ian.
Killian.
Cillian.
Killian.
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 Kill-
Anyway,
All right, so Cillian.
He's gonna win for best actor.
Yeah, I'll give it just a fast 9.0.
9.0.
Yeah.
You?
I'm at a 9.5. I think this film is extremely effective in the message it's trying to convey. It's extremely
Talk about good biopics, right?
it's extremely cinematic. I think it goes deeper than a biopic. I think that what's really great about Oppenheimer is that, believe it or not, as much of a blockbuster as it is, because it is, I think it is at its core, it's just exploring the human condition and how destructive we are, and we don't realize that. And the moral dilemma between that Robert J. Oppenheimer is going through is, what have I done? I am a destroyer of worlds.
Yeah.
And that's the arc. You know, the arc is essentially like, I'm driving science forward. Until
it's
I'm like,
not his anymore.
Fuck.
Until literally the thing he created is
Is
just
used
like,
for-
wait, where is that going? It's like, oh, well, the government's taking it over. That's what this was all for. And it's like, oh, so it's going to go be used?
Yeah. And
on
then
people?
You're not going to be warned for what?
Yeah.
This God particle of a thing that you created is going to be used for evil, whether you like it or not. And
Yeah. Oh
and
my
it's-
God. Even what's the president's name? The guy who played him?
The president?
Yeah, he's Commissioner Gordon. That guy.
Gary Oldman?
Gary Oldman.
Was it Gary Oldman?
I think it's Gary Oldman.
He's not in this film.
I don't think he is.
Are you sure that that's not Gary Oldman, the president? For
Nixon or not Nixon?
J.
Who was it? J. Edgar Hoover.
Well, anyway, that scene, how heavy. I mean, it's just kind of like where he's like, it's weighing on me, like, because I unleashed this, and it's like, your name's not on the paper, like my name's on the fucking paper, like I'm the one deciding like where this is gonna land and what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
So how about you get out of here with that whole thing? But
kid, go back to your science lab set. You know, your
whole
chemistry set
again,
or whatever.
the exploration of the human spirit. As far as cinema goes, the exploration in storytelling, visual storytelling, it's fantastic. I love it. Even like the experimental scene, in the courtroom, or no, when they're interrogating him, and you see that scene where Cillian Murphy's just like naked and all that.
Yeah. By the way, Florence Pugh, man. I mean, it was a small role, but fantastic role as well. I personally liked that role better than the Emily Blunt role, if I'm being honest with you. Emily Blunt's a good actress, and she's showing some range here, but I didn't care for the character.
I agree.
I didn't follow the character.
Absolutely agree.
Yeah, I mean, she's doing good. And by the way, her and Cillian were in A Quiet Place. In A Quiet Place 2. Which was directed by her husband.
That's true.
Yeah. So I'm at a 9.5.
9.5.
You're at a 9.5?
9.5 also. Fantastic film. I mean...
Yeah, the exploration of this humanity is amazing.
Yeah, I think for people who did go and see Barbenheimer, go ahead and tell me that you saw both films and you wanted to give it over to Barbie over this
exactly.
film. Like,
No, but good to participate. Good to participate, and I'm glad. I don't know if they did this on purpose. I'm willing to bet that the studios did. But you guys made an event film. We haven't had an event film in so long. You know, that's awesome.
What did you think of The Blast from a cinematography standpoint?
I
know there was a lot of...
I had a lot of people come up and talk to me.
Me?
Yeah, we saw it.
Oh.
No, I had a friend come talk to me, a fellow cinematographer,
Right?
And he was telling me that he was really underwhelmed with like the blast scene because
I wasn't.
No, and that's the thing is,
Did he know?
It was this weird mix. Yeah, he knew. It was this weird mix of everybody's expecting, especially like when you would see the inserts, and the inserts had sound to them.
You're
the
like,
inserts had
what is it gonna
texture and
be?
the rumble, and even like the Geiger counter when you would hear at the very beginning of the film when like they're just opening and all the sounds and noises and the hum of scientific equipment leading up to this explosion, that when it happens, it's this very odd place, and
Silent.
It's
again,
bigger than life. I mean, it's bigger
again-
than life, and it's taking away the sound so that you're not distracted by the sound.
Exactly.
yeah.
You know,
Not only that,
I'm
he
trying to
also
figure out how to say
replicated
that.
what they witnessed in real life.
right,
Yeah,
because there's a
exactly.
time difference
Yeah.
essentially from when it actually goes off. Yeah, it's
Yeah, because I wasn't
extremely
overwhelmed.
effective.
I was just like, what are you guys talking about?
It's extremely
Like,
effective. It's
No,
extremely
and
effective.
again, other people wanted to see the explosion and the rumble, and they wanted
how's this
explosion to be
fucking-
the monster when really
Exactly.
it's a personal story. It's a personal story about this is what you contributed to, this is what you put your time and energy to. That when they see it, you know, it wasn't about that. It was about
was never about that.
What he accomplished. You know,
Yeah.
seeing from very far away this like faint little like, whoa, we made this happen. You know. Something that, like, you know, even when he was pitching it to other scientists, seeing the way
Einstein.
seeing the way he
favorite-
was
my
like trying to
favorite
get the
scene.
best minds, like,
Two of my
we're
favorite
gonna
scenes.
prove a scientific phenomena if you jump on this project. Sure, it's government funded. Sure, it's
It's
gonna be used
sanctioned,
for a bomb, but look at what we're doing. We're doing real like research. We're at the top of the game. I mean, it was incredible to see that, and again, you being left with like, oh, we're going to take your baby, something that you just did for the love of science, and now it's going to be used for mass destruction.
Yeah.
And you were the one behind it.
Yeah,
Congrats.
it's a commentary on taking the
That is
lead
pretty
and
heavy. That is
having
heavy.
somebody like Einstein be like, I know what this is going to become, dude. Good luck.
You know, I think
You know, having the foresight. And,
And it just puts you in that fucking history. Just,
and back to the cinematography for the explosion, just real quick.
no, yeah. I want to hear this.
I think an amateur cinematographer, myself included,
What?
would have made the mistake of trying to really emphasize the explosion and trying to really emphasize those moments. And I think what was beautiful is that the cinematographer knew how to hold back and knew where to place focus.
Yeah.
The focus was meant to be inside. It was
Yeah.
on the people. Even just those little intimate
The
moments where
observation.
you see a frame of Oppenheimer looking out the window and he's just like, wow. And this personal connection with like him and this baby that he's created compared to let's focus on this, you know, because that's what everybody's waiting for. But
Exactly.
no,
Hoyt
it's
van
about
Hoytema,
him.
by the
yeah.
way. Hoyt van Hoytema
Hoyt
was,
van
the,
Hoytema.
was the
annoyed me.
cinematographer.
So yeah, no, I think it's beautiful,
Beautiful.
incredible, and then plus, like I said, they really knew how to balance out the textures and everything. That when they wanted to really put people in place of the Robert Downey Jr. scenes for the courtroom drama part, they took us there. They really took us to that place and that authenticity and oh my god, it's beautiful. It's a master class of a film. If you watch it, on all accounts, this deserves all
Yeah,
the love
I like
it's
the
going to get.
direction
it
of
also
it.
needs to
Oscars.
be it needs to be consumed multiple times to really analyze.
After hearing this, I guess I have to watch it again.
Oh, yeah. I only saw it the one time, and I regret. Like I probably
Yeah.
I will try to
Yeah.
see it one more time before the Oscars because it's just saying so much, not just in the arcs of the story, but cinematically and for cinematic merit. Yeah. So it's
I
terrific.
think
And I
we,
love that Chris Nolan is
go ahead.
just thinking this way. You know, Chris Nolan is a student of cinema by all intents and
Yeah, dude,
purposes.
I'm
and
starting
he's
to
a-
like Nolan
He's
a
a
lot, too.
champion of cinema, and you know he's obviously been fighting for people to go watch this film and not just this, but his whole career has been go watch films.
Dude, during
in
the middle of the
theaters.
pandemic, he was telling people go watch Tenet in the theaters,
Yeah.
and it's like,
And
Yeah, I'm liking Nolan.
he's a champion of cinema. He's a champion
The way
for
he
original
talks, man,
storytelling.
it's
He's
so
also
beautiful.
very grounded. He's also very grounded. Like he said,
Exactly.
some of his favorite films are the Fast and the Furious films.
Yeah, did
You
you
know,
see that?
he's just a grounded dude, and I love his approach to storytelling, and I think he's got a unique thing, and again he's gonna go up and make scaleful films with budgets, with resources, and still ground them in the human
And he's still
condition.
relatively young, so he's
Yeah, he's gonna be one of the guys that's gonna draw people back to the cinemas, and it's gonna push cinema forward. And I'm really excited.
Does
for
he
that.
collaborate with like other big names? No.
In what sense?
You know how Marty with I don't know Linklater, I don't know,
You mean Spielberg?
you know something like that. I don't know.
I-
Does he like collaborate?
I don't think so. I think he's kind of gone. Dude, he writes most of his films with his brother. You know,
See, I like that.
He stays pretty grounded. I don't
Close
think.
to home.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. I really didn't hear a whole lot
I think
about
his dad wrote one of his screenplays recently. I'm not even kidding, but yeah. He's pretty grounded.
It was
dude.
even interesting hearing about like Cillian Murphy and how much he like goes and he'll act and do these roles.
Yeah.
And then he just kind of goes home, and that's like a job for him, like a day job. Like, hey, I did that, and now I'm like, I'm
He
gonna
doesn't
go
even
home.
know most of the memes that are about him.
Right,
Yeah,
right,
he
right.
doesn't even.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's crazy.
I will say we got a little bit of time left. I'm going to point something out that I don't know if you guys agree with the sentiment.
Let's see.
Underrated aspect of the film, Matt Damon. Matt Damon did fucking amazing in this role. I got lost in that performance. I didn't see Matt Damon in that role. I really didn't. I thought it was a great little role. The only thing I'll compare it to relatively is Ford v Ferrari, because he had a similar. I mean, it was
he had a little
kind
role.
of Texas twang thing.
Exactly.
But this role was fantastic, and I don't think it gets talked about enough. Again, I don't think there's bad casting in this film at all, but Matt Damon is I think, he's one of my favorite actors, but certainly in this film, I think
But he doesn't overshadow.
He was a puzzle piece. He was a puzzle piece to help tell a story, and an important puzzle piece at that. He's basically the recruiter.
They used a lot of his dialogue for the marketing of the film. It's like, wait, what are we creating? And they cut to him.
Also, he's kind of like I said, he's the recruiter, so he's serving as a catalyst for the picture. And he knows what he's doing. He knows he's a military sergeant or captain or whatever he is.
Yeah, he's always trying to play this like distant role. Yeah. Like, I'll only get close enough to you to really I
don't know what you're doing. I just know that you can do what we're wanting.
And I know what we need.
Yeah, so it's a pretty interesting role, pretty interesting supporting role.
What about Robert Downey's?
I mean, he was the antagonist until he wasn't, right? I mean, it's an interesting form. And again, it's one of those things where present it to the audience and see what side you decide to take on this. But I don't know. Is he a villain? It's very interesting. It's a very complex character, and it's a real character. It's somebody who actually existed in history. And comparatively, I compare his character to De Niro's character in Killers of the Flower Moon. He's driving things forward in the negative connotation. He's pretending to be the innocent one. Yeah. He's pretending to be the righteous one in this situation, and he really isn't. There is no righteous one in this situation. Everybody's fucked in this situation.
The end of the day,
Wrap up question. What do we think it's going to win? It's up for editing, Austin. Do you feel like it's going to get editing?
No.
We haven't gotten to your edit.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, Killers. Thelma. Sorry.
Yeah.
Why not Oppenheimer? It was extremely cohesive, and it's hard to do, right?
I just preferred what Thelma did on Killers.
Okay.
I think it's more of a preference thing.
I listed what I think it's going to win. I don't think it's going to win Best Picture. I think it's going to win Director, Cinematography. I'm still in between. Actor for sure. Supporting actor for Downey as well. Production design, no. Costume design, no.
Production design, maybe, because they always usually go towards period pieces.
And they did build...
Exactly.
They built the town again.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's pretty interesting.
But just because it's going up against Barbie, and Barbie...
What about score? I remember the score for this one a lot.
It's a pretty epic score.
Nolan has a lot of really good scores.
It wasn't Hans. It was Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross. Right?
Oh,
No, who was it? Who did it?
Really quick for sound. I thought I remember a lot of little things sound.
It was Ludwig.
Ludwig. Yeah.
Oh, the only one I think we put above sound, and we'll talk about it later. Another film that's up on this list.
Yeah. Yep.
But
Oppenheimer, terrific picture.
Fantastic.
It's going to be the talk of the town. The Oscars and the most nominations.
It'll probably sweep a lot.
It'll probably sweep.
I think between this one and Killers, it's gonna.
Unfortunately, I disagree. I don't think Killers is going to get the love.
On the list.
Yeah. Which one's the next one?
Oh dear Barbara, how much time do we have?
Celine song.
How much fucking time do we have?
We only have a little bit of time, and we're going to talk about Celine songs, past lives, Carlos's favorite of the year.
Absolutely,
really,
by a mile.
Really?
And I'll let you also talk about the story right now after I get past everything. Starring Greta Lee, Theo Yu, and John Magaro.
Magaro, I think it's Magaro.
Magaro. Nominated for Best Picture and Best Original Screenplay right now, which I think you're rooting for both of them.
Yeah.
Best Picture?
Oh, no, not for Best Picture, but Best Original Screenplay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think this is going to get the love it deserves to an extent. Isn't Celine's song also nominated? No?
No, that's it.
What's the phrase up top?
A soaring, decades-spanning romance that will make you catch your breath.
The Hollywood Reporter.
Carlos.
Reporter.
Only
So-
2 nominations. What's this film about?
Yeah.
This film is about two kind of star-crossed lovers who are childhood sweethearts that meet, grew up together in Korea and Seoul, Korea. And, the female character, Nora?
Yeah.
I think the character's name is Nora. Her family immigrates to Canada and then to the States. And essentially they lose contact. And then through social media, through modern kind of technology, they
You
find
meet
each
through
other.
Facebook.
Yeah, through Facebook. They meet through Facebook. They find each other through Facebook again, rather. Kind of just on a random memory. It turns out they were both kind of looking for each other. And they connect and they kind of have this long-distance relationship for a stint that could have been romantic, and it was heading in that direction, and then ultimately long distance is hard, and they both have aspirations that aren't going to allow for them to do this if they want to pursue those aspirations. So 12 years pass by kind of once again, and they both are leading different lives, both engaged and married, and then he visits the States and sees her again in person for the first time since they were kids, and it just goes through this trajectory and focuses on this core theme of Inyeon. Which essentially is why this film is called Past Lives. It's a Korean, Buddhist principle rather, that focuses on how individuals who simply brush themselves on the street, that they have been connected through a past life in some scenario. Where if you just bump into somebody, that means you're connected into a past life.
Yeah,
but
I
if
like
you're
that.
married to a character, or you're married to an individual, you have 8,000 layers of Inyeon between you. That means in past lives, you've
80,000?
8.
8,000.
It was just 8?
It's 8. And so this principle of Inyeon is the glue for this entire picture. Because the questions are we really connected? Are we really connected on that deep of a level? Well, yeah, we've known each other since we were little kids, but you're also married, and that's a very special relationship. And I think it's just this thing of closure that they both didn't even know that they needed. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful
Right up your
story.
alley.
Right up my alley for sure, and my sensibilities for sure. But I think this picture's phenomenal. I think the execution of this picture's phenomenal. I think the opening, the bookends of this picture's phenomenal. The opening,
as simple as this film is, like in its execution, right? Because it's we talked about it a lot with what is it called, the Before trilogy. Just these very simple elements.
yeah.
That are absolutely perfect in every way, that then when they come together for this film, it doesn't need to do anything over the top to make you really care about them and care about these characters and care about the story and everything. And I mean, I think when it ends, you really are left with that impact of...
Yeah. I don't know that there's been a film in these 10 films that has left me thinking about the film for weeks on end after I've seen it, and this film did.
I mean,
that
it
for
even
me.
affected like the last film that we did, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, very
definitely,
much so.
definitely.
Oh, you saw it before?
No, but we were in post production for my current film, and,
okay.
it's informing
Yeah.
a lot of the dynamics of what I want this story
Even
to
the
be.
color, we're gonna...
Even the color references and color
Nice.
palettes, and it's just a phenomenal picture, and for me, it's a 10. By the way,
Wow.
that's where I'm starting
no,
at, setting the bar.
There's only like 3 10s that you've told.
No, he has a few 10s.
Yeah,
there,
a few
right?
10s at this
but,
point.
But
But-
again, I'd put it up with like the Before trilogy. You know, it's...
For me,
Yeah,
it's
the same
like,
thing like the
it's
Before
more
trilogy.
closely related. It has nothing to do with them being aged. It's more closely related or a close cousin of In the Mood for Love.
In the Mood for
right?
Love.
This non-romantic relationship, this non-romantic relationship that you want to be romantic, but at the same time, that's not what life is about. And the exploration of life and where you end up. And it's just fucking terrific picture. I don't know what direction. I guess go this way.
Okay. I'll give it a 9.7. I think fantastic in every category. I thought there was a lot of simplicity in the cinematography and simplicity in the compositions, but that simplicity really, like, they knew how to, and it goes more to the directing, but they knew how to take these simple moments and expand them just enough where you could really feel it. I mean, the closing shot, one of the closing shots of them both waiting for the Uber to come so this guy can go to the airport, and you're just left with these two characters in the center frame, balanced well. We didn't need to push the camera into their faces
They
or anything.
didn't say anything.
They didn't have to do anything. They just, we have their full bodies in the frame. You know, it's kind of distant, so you would think, oh, it's not going to feel that intimate, but no, we're just left there, and we're left dealing with this tension you can cut with a knife. And then he finally goes, and it's like, okay, I guess this is goodbye.
We'll see each other in the next life.
Yeah, we'll see each other in the next life. And then she walks back, and you're there for that entire walk back. And
the amalgamation of these emotions, and she's left with it, and he's gone
sobbing,
again. And the sob says so much. And and the fact that her husband is embracing her, any typical husband would be like, "Bitch, what are you crying about?"
Yeah.
You know. And in this scenario, it's like, no, I get it. And him as an intellectual, as a writer, as an artist, as a creative, he'll be like,
"Isn't it a perfect story?
It's the perfect story. Like, I don't hold a candle to this fucking story, man. Like, I don't hold a candle to two childhood sweethearts or reconnecting after 24 years or whatever.
No, it's fantastic.
It's a phenomenal thing.
It's so simple, but you feel every bit of it.
9.7, right?
9.
For you, 9.7. And by the way, I think, in addition to Best Picture, it would be an amazing... IndieWire is something I've trusted for a long time, and it's been kind of the publication that I trust the most right now. Put this thing at their number one also. They're like, if this one's Best Picture, we're all for it.
What are the chances?
It's an upset. It's definitely an upset. Everybody's rooting for either Oppenheimer or Killers of the Flower Moon to take Best Picture, and I think politically, Killers of the Flower Moon is going to end up winning. I think it's the only thing it's going to win. And I think if Oppenheimer won Best Picture, nobody would be mad either. So, but I really want Past Lives to win. At the very least, Best Original Screenplay.
It does.
The original, again, man, I just always think about the opening shot. It's them three at the bar. You know, the husband, her, and then the question is, who are they? Do you think the Asian couple are a couple, and then this guy's like their white tourist guide? No, the white guy's with the girl, and then that's her brother. It's fucking great, man. It sets up the whole picture so that when we kind of bookend at the end, it's like, okay, what are they? Genuinely, what are they? I mean, yeah, these two are married. So what? Does this relationship mean anything? It poses so many questions. It's phenomenal.
Nice.
Austin.
Yeah, it's a dime for me.
It's a dime.
A dime.
Yeah. Personal favorite.
Personal favorite.
Yeah.
Why?
Just great. Casino.
If it's anything like In the Mood for Love or the trilogy, I'll give it a 9.5.
That's where you sit with it?
Yeah.
I thought it was just Poor Things that you had in.
No, those two. Poor Things.
Oh, shit.
Well, you're in for a treat.
No, yeah, dude. I mean, if it's anything like In the Mood for Love,
It's a modern In the Mood for Love, man. It really is. It's a modern In the Mood for Love.
I am so down.
It's a modern In the Mood for Love. It really is. But with these kind of, again, these what's the word I'm looking for? Platonic, connotations that are more powerful than non-platonic things. I mean, it's just fucking phenomenal. It's a phenomenal picture. Also, John Magaro, man, I love him as an actor, man. I think he's so underrated. I want to see him in more things. The only other film I had seen him in was in a little film that I really love called Liberal Arts. And do you remember Liberal Arts?
Yeah.
And he plays the student who tries to kill himself and stuff. And I just love him. I love him as an actor. Shit. I think he's uberly talented and should be in more films. Yeah. But man, just Past Lives has a lot to say in this hour 45, hour 30, hour 45 fucking, or is it 2 hours? Maybe it's closer to 2 hours. I think it's hour 45.
I thought it was 2 hours at least.
I feel like
hour 45.
Hour
Did
45.
this have a theatrical release or just?
It did, and I missed it because I was waiting for somebody. I won't name names, Chuck, who was like, "No, we should watch it together. I'll get the screener and we'll watch it." And no, we didn't watch it. I ended up just watching it.
I mean, so your right now is for best original screenplay.
I would at the very least, man. The way this film is structured is genius. When we cut to the end, when we cut to the flashback of the steps, in Korea, while they're saying their last goodbyes, those tension-filled, the scene you talked about at the end, and then we cut to them as kids.
Also that scene at the steps where one goes up and one goes down.
Yeah.
And you see her, and she's going to school, learning, moving forward in her career, and he is too. But he's stuck with the kind of Korean, the
life.
traditional.
Yeah, the traditional Korean life. And he even says, right, he's so Korean. She says, he's so Korean. And the way he thinks is so Korean. And he even says, like, I'm just a normal Korean dude. There's nothing special about me.
Where he even says, like, oh, the worst part was, like, the military. And then, you just kind of got to do that. And then afterwards
normal.
you move on. And now I'm, working and trying to expand. And we'll see where this goes. But
by the way, directorial debut.
Really?
For Celine Song?
First film she's ever done. She comes from the theater.
Celine. I gotta see this.
She comes from the theater world, and this is
nice.
essentially what this character. It's very autobiographical, by the way. Not everything, but for the most part, it's autobiographical.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, just for a directorial debut, I'm first of all extremely jealous.
Right.
But my gosh, man, it's just the amalgamation of all of the elements that work so well for
when
this
you
picture.
talk about a film like that, I want to see it with you, bro.
Yeah, I'm so down to watch this film 10 more times. I don't care. Like I love this picture.
Well,
But yeah, just there's only so much we can say, and I think that's the most powerful cinema, that you can't describe what's so great about it. There's
Like
just so much to say, so much that the film says that you can't.
Yeah.
Even as a human, and these human
even-
emotions that we constantly feel but can never put into words.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's what this film is.
I'll even say that, like, on the facet of exploring relationships, which I know you're a big fan of because it's such an interesting dynamic to explore, right?
I think it's the
In the
most
human experience.
The human condition is then the human experience. I think relationships are the most telling thing. I think they're the most honest depiction of humanity at their best and at their worst, and that's why it's so fascinating to me to see the dynamic of a couple through cinema, because it's an exploration of humanity at its most foundational core, relationships, people, and when I see films like this, it gives me. I'll steal a line from Marty, man. Like he didn't say this about this film. I don't know if you've seen it, but it gives me hope for cinema. It gives me hope for the future of cinema, that people are still telling stories like this. Don't get me wrong. We talked about some amazing films. We talked about Maestro and the complexities of that, and we talked about the relationships of that. But those are these massively scale. What's the budget for this thing? I'm willing to bet somewhere under 10 mil. And fuck, man. I mean, just for me, yes, this is just my sensibilities, but it's also for me the most powerful cinema. 12 million was the budget for this. Probably the lowest budget of all of the Best Picture nominees is my guess.
35, 20.
But yeah, man, again the exploration of stories and relationships through cinema that have substance, that have not to be cheeky, but that have layers. This film is fucking phenomenal. I laugh because Sandra, I watched it with my wife, and she says. I was blown away, right? Like, I'm quiet after the first screening of this, and I'm like sitting there, and she's like, "What are you doing? What are you thinking about? She said, are you layering? That's your thing now. Are you layering? Who are you layering with?"
I'm just edging.
And I'm like, yeah, exactly, right? But no, man, it's just this fucking film leaves me dumbfounded, man. The more I think about this picture.
Now, this is probably one of the most annoying questions, but do you put this above In the Mood for Love?
No.
Because you're talking about it.
Because
Like,
you got to
really,
pay
really,
honor to the people who found it.
Exactly. No, yeah, that's why I want to say it in a
No,
disrespectful
it's
way.
not a dumb question. I mean, like I said, this film gives me hope to tell these kinds of stories.
You're talking about it like
and they're all different, by the way. Like even cultures, right? Like culturally, In the Mood for Love is Hong Kong cinema, and those dynamics of that people. This is Korea, and Korean American technically, and I know it sounds silly, but I'd love to I kind of am exploring making my perspective of these, which is a Mexican American version of something like this, right? So, yeah, man, I just think it's fantastic. But it's not In the Mood for Love has been. That's what's beautiful about these pictures is like I'm living within the Mood for Love, and I think about it every day, and I think about this like how it's creeping up into becoming my top 3. Or maybe even my favorite film of all time, because it's just impacted me so much on how you can convey this message without doing or saying too much. And Past Lives did that for me more than any film this year.
Nice.
I'll be thinking about this film for my whole life. I'll be thinking about this film.
Wow.
I will be living with this film. And if it impacted me this much right now,
Sorry.
Wait, were you in a grocery store?
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to put that there.
you're gonna have to cut it into the episode.
Were you in the vegetable section? What the?
Anyways, we
Here, I'll
can
show you real
skip ahead
quick.
because, like I said,
Somebody's immune.
you're Indian with these eggplants. You're making.
Why is it so good?
Are you
though?
making Indian
Yeah, why
soup?
is it so good, bro?
I know.
I didn't mean to put it up yet. I'm
What
sorry.
did you look up? Like,
Are you
But
lazy?
look, it looks like you're there.
Yeah, AI man.
Damn.
Anyways, we can move on to the next picture. Like I said, there's so much I can't say. I can't communicate.
But
because
again, this is one of the films that I think easily could get swept under the rug,
Yeah,
and you'll
yeah.
forget about it because it's not getting all the love that it deserves. Just-
824, by the way.
Yeah. Well,
Thank you.
Also,
That's A24?
Yes.
Damn.
Also, it's one of those that I think can just kind of breeze past.
Yeah.
And again, there's so many
Hour
great films
45.
this year. So many great films. This is definitely one to not sleep on. Go and watch this one for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Next film.
10, 9.7, 9.5, based on what we're saying. There,
Oh my god.
there we go.
Poor
Yorgos.
things.
Yorgos Lanthimos.
Poor Things.
Oh,
Starring
wow.
Emma Stone.
Mark Ruffalo.
Mark Ruffalo.
Ruffalini in some language.
Ruffalo and William Dafoe.
Your boy.
Nominated for 11 Oscars, including Best Picture, Best Director, Best Actress, Best Supporting Actor, Best Cinematography, Best Film Editing, Best Production Design, Best Costume Design, Best Adapted Screenplay, Best Makeup and Hairstylings, and Best Original Score. You know, I forgot that this one also got for production design, and the production design was really good in this one.
Phenomenal. I think this should-
for
Ooh.
creating a surrealistic
What did we compare?
world,
What was the other one?
Barbie. That we were saying
Yeah.
like that one would get like
No, this should win production
this-
design.
Better than Barbie?
Yeah, no, because
Absolutely.
again, when it came to
Oh, I forgot
designing,
about Napoleon.
when it came to designing this film's like, oh my god, like a surrealistic world, you know, that because this was just a surrealist painting made into a film. And I heard somebody describe to me like if you could jump into Dr. Seuss's world and see what that looks like in
Oh,
film,
that's pretty good.
That's what this would be.
But an adult version of that, right?
Hold on. Well, give us a
Description of the
a
film?
description.
So
Yeah.
essentially, you want to do it?
Go for it.
hey, let's say the same words at the same time.
Okay.
The
This is
movie
Are we best friends
is that's the only one we got right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, go for it.
okay, Poor Things
Yeah.
is about it's basically a female Frankenstein.
What?
William Dafoe finds
Dafoe.
William Dafoe. Willem Dafoe.
Say it with Bradley Cooper's Lenny.
Really, this film is about
There we go.
William Dafoe.
God.
It's about Willem
Godwin.
Dafoe. God is what Emma
The name of his character.
Stone calls him, but basically he's he's an expert surgeon and
Oh,
like a
what?
doctor and
Anatomy doctor. Yeah.
anatomy doctor. Like he teaches about surgery and teaches about body parts and all that, and he's a super skilled like person in his field.
Right.
And he was raised by his father who had similar beliefs and was very much experimental and believed in science and the like objectivity of life and the creatures and things around him.
Yeah.
He stumbles upon one day this woman who jumps over a bridge and is going to kill herself, and she succeeds, but she's pregnant with the baby. And as he describes it, it was obvious to me then what I needed to do. Remove the baby.
Before you say that,
Go ahead.
when you see this man's house and his experiments, he's constantly experimenting with putting the body of a goat on, or the body of a pig on the feet of a chicken.
Okay.
Or mix.
Or,
you know.
yeah, like a dog on a chicken, or
So
a pig on with a chicken's head, and yeah, he's constantly mixing and matching things.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Important.
what ends up happening is that he says, "Oh, it's obvious. I was to cut out the baby, remove the brain from the baby, and put it in the woman's body, and then resuscitate this new life form."
Okay.
because that's obvious. Why wouldn't you do that?
Brain of a baby into the adult body.
Adult body.
Of the mother.
Reanimate the mother.
Shock it back
Yeah.
up.
And then what the film is basically the, like, not full life cycle, but, well, kind of.
Yeah, condensed life cycle.
It's the condensed life cycle of Emma Stone's character in, full adult form going through the mental growth, I guess, of her character.
From baby,
to go there.
from baby to adult.
Exactly. So at the very beginning, she's like a small infant, and it's funny. We talked to one of our friends, Carlos Corral. He says, when I watched this, I just saw my kids because they're all babies right now. They're doing the exact same thing. So very accurate towards a way a small child or toddler would act, and then gaining language and motor skills, which then later on evolves into not just being able to speak, but then having
Furious jumping.
Furious jumping.
But more important than that, the development of the mind and the exploration of society and
the exploration of society and self through a woman's eyes.
Yes,
essentially.
very, very important.
Very important.
Very, very important. And that if it sounds like a lot of very complex ideas,
It is.
When you watch this film, it's so dense. I mean, it's so dense in its exploration. It's so dense in its execution.
But it's also its originality. It's phenomenal.
I know. My
Yorgos
goodness.
Lanthimos always cooks up these. I mean, this is based on the book, by the way. We can't give him the full credit.
The original.
Yeah, no, it's adapted. But I mean, the imagination of Yorgos Lanthimos to tell human stories via this crazy kind of concept,
Right.
is kind of his staple right now.
Yes,
He did a film. One of my favorite films of his is called The Lobster. Where that's him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right,
Okay,
great
now I
concept.
know. Okay.
Great concept, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the concept of if you don't find the love of your life by a certain time, you get turned into a lobster.
I know this guy.
Or you get turned into an animal of
Or
your
you
choice.
get to animal of your
You're
choice.
talking about the killing of a scared deer or whatever.
Yeah, Killing of a Sacred Deer with the kid from Saltburn
Oh,
as well.
I haven't seen that one
terrific
yet. I've been
picture,
hearing a lot
terrific
about it.
picture. The one I haven't seen is The Favorite, which
But,
he did with Emma Stone as well. But
yeah,
anyways, I mean, just Yorgos' fucking brain is amazing, man.
It's super experimental, dynamic exploration of the full scale of what it means to be a woman in society, as well as
And in dated society, right? This is set in what
no, not even dated society. What are you talking about?
No, what I mean the concept still stands strong. I mean, where the film is set.
Oh yeah.
I mean, set in what, the late 1800s?
I believe
I can
so.
tell by the dresses.
Somewhere in that vein.
Yeah.
Victorian era, maybe.
The Victorian.
No,
yeah.
a little bit
let's
later.
pass
I'd probably say
Victorian.
like 1870s.
19th century. Yeah, late 1800s.
Yeah.
So late 1800s,
Frankenstein.
essentially.
It's crazy. I mean, I know that you were saying that this would be my pick as far as
I
best
thought this was
picture.
going to be your favorite of the year.
Again, I really liked just the feel goodness of the
Holdovers.
Holdovers. But as far as like films that I am going to be returning to time and time again, much like you said with Past Lives, this is going to be
This
that for
one?
me. This had so much in it. It took so many risks. I mean, also seeing Emma Stone in a role like this and her putting everything out.
Look, I've said this time and time again. The more I see La La Land, the more I'm okay with her winning an Oscar. She deserves an Oscar for this. There's no question about it. La La Land's amazing. It's one of my favorite pictures, obviously, and her performance in it. What it took to make that performance is what's more impressive almost than the performance itself. But this performance is phenomenal. It's something I never thought I'd see in Emma Stone, if I'm being honest with you.
Okay, so now that you
drew
guys are
out.
praising it that much, how is she not in the picture instead of Lily Gladstone?
It's just that Lily Gladstone, I think,
Political, man. It's
Yeah.
political more
Okay,
than
well,
anything.
let's put that aside. It'd be awesome if she did win it, right?
Oh, I want her to win over
Yeah.
Lily Gladstone.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Do I think it's going to happen? No. I want her to win
Because
over Lily
again,
Gladstone.
for anybody who
Because you guys are talking way more than Lily Gladstone.
Yeah,
no,
because
and for anybody who thinks that the Oscars is just this objective show of merit, it wants to be, but also it's very political. If you pay enough money and you do enough campaigning for your person, you're gonna get it.
if
Or
you just want to be in the political
times-
correctness of the
exactly.
times, right?
Yeah,
But again, so many films talking about opening up the perspective of like voices that are,
Yeah,
voiceover.
this is also one of those films that like is stories rather that is made for cinema.
Fuck.
You can't tell this anymore.
Yeah, I mean, you could read a
It
book.
was adapted,
You could
but-
read a book and like open your mind and like, but to see this on a visual scale that Yorgos puts this in, building the sets the way he does, and the casting is perfect in this too. Willem Dafoe's character has an amazing arc as well. Rami Youssef, which surprises me. Jared Carmichael in this is a great supporting role.
Carmichael, yeah.
Jared Carmichael was fantastic in this film, man. Like he blew me away.
I will say
and
that
Mark
after-
Ruffalo, you don't see Mark Ruffalo in this role. You don't see Ruffalo. You see this character. It's just terrific.
For ratings,
Yeah,
This is gonna be interesting.
it's a 9.9.
9.9 for you.
Whoa.
9.9. It's
I'm
fantastic.
definitely gonna watch this.
It is one of the best things to come out this year. If you are into cinematography, experimental storytelling, anything.
Fantastical elements, but also fantasy-based scenes.
And I'll get into my notes on the cinematography,
Yeah.
but that's 9.9. Austin?
I've got it at like a solid 9.5.
Okay.
It's still up there.
Editing wise, do you feel like anything crazy stood out for you, or
No, but there was one part where it
I
kind
would
of threw me
think.
off a little bit. But I mean, it just, it's, fantasy, right? In a sense. Was like the floating, like,
the cutaway scenes where it's
no,
like
when they were in
transition.
Portugal, when they were in Portugal and she's like exploring, I don't know if you guys saw like the floating trams.
Yeah, that's a real thing.
yeah.
Oh, those were like real?
No, not the design, but you go to Portugal and
Yeah, but back then in the 1800s?
yes,
Oh shit, I didn't know that.
yeah, they're what's sky movers or sky, what they used to call them, they're big in Disney now.
Let's
But
put it up. What is it?
yeah. Anyways,
Well, the air tram.
Yeah.
I think it's also very heavily inspired by the production design of Metropolis.
Yeah.
Just if you kind of pay attention to Fritz Lang's kind of sensibilities for production design.
It's just very. It's also meant to, in the lens choices and everything. It was meant to emphasize the
Heighten, yeah.
surrealistic element of society.
Yeah.
And I think in that, I'll get into that right now.
So
It's
realistically,
this
I'll get into it right now.
Courage the Cowardly Dog approach. No, in a very
wow.
surreal way.
Okay.
It's terrific.
Need to see it.
Yeah.
Rating.
I'm at about a 9.3.
Okay.
I'm about 9.3, though it has a lot to say and it executed it extremely well. I think I'll revisit this picture for more of the technical things than anything. Yeah, I mean it's great. It's a terrific picture and it's a great story. But I think I'll revisit it more than anything for references on surrealistic kind of execution in cinema. Originality for sure. Originality for sure. It's
fantastic.
yeah. I just the reason I put it at a 9.3 is because it's relatively universal. But I think if I'm being extremely honest, just like I'm honest when it comes to writing something in this vein, I think women will benefit from this film more than men, and rightfully so.
Just like Barbie.
Well, a lot of people, when they saw this film and saw Barbie, they were like, this is just a more mature Barbie.
Yeah.
But the thing is I feel like this one does a much better job at giving the perspective of like an earnest exploration of the human condition, again, as a woman, the perspective from a woman.
Right.
And trying to encapsulate... Like looking at it, looking at society with fresh eyes. And that's why I love the cinematography. It's very wide because like a child looking at society for the first time, you're very wide-eyed. Like you walk in,
Curious.
like if you look at a child walking into any room, they're looking at so many different details and textures and everything's shot where it's a super sharp depth of field where you can see everything because that's what it wants to present to you, you know?
Ari
Yes.
Cam LT Zeiss Ultra Primes.
Really?
You son of a bitch.
Wow.
Wow.
Anytime we build a budget, that's the camera and lens package you propose.
The Zeiss Ultra Primes?
Yeah.
No.
I know you're shooting for cooks too, but you've presented the Zeiss Ultra Primes.
Zeiss Ultra Primes are for, again, very specific use case. In this situation, if you have everything very shallow, you're taking away emphasis from what's in the background compared to the foreground. When they were shooting Emma Stone's character everything's very shallow because we're just able to focus on their perspective to everything. But when we shoot the environment, no, everything needs to be sharp and tacked because we need to be able to feel the texture from everywhere and feel that overstimulation, and then use the extra wide lenses to feel all that just shoved into our face. So that was super, again, intentional in the cinematography. It accomplished the feeling it needed to give to the audience. Very, very well done. And then again, it's this whole idea of being a child, very wide-eyed. And then when you look at her more matured later on, what are the lens choices? We're going to 50 millimeter because we don't need to see this wide-eyed child. We need to see that she's on even ground with society. She's now a player in society, contributing to the conversation of why does the, what is it called, capitalistic society exist when things can be more democratized, things can be more open, that we don't need to have these structured roles. Even like the whole idea of exploring... like not just me being a part of society, but what is it like to be a part of something like marriage? And that's why she skipped being with the other guy and then went
And what
straight
is
back.
it like to be a part of prostitution? And what does that mean? No, that's important.
It's great. It's fantastic. It's exploring
it's
so
a
many...
science experiment for her.
Exactly.
All of life,
like I
just
said,
like her father before her, is a science experiment for her.
And it's such an earnest exploration of that. And I mean, that goes to the story in the book, but in the execution, in the set design, the cinematography, the directing, they really put the audience there. And that is something that I am going to keep revisiting for time to come. Because I just think there's so much to be said.
One last question for you, cinematography wise, before we wrap up and move on.
Yeah.
What do you feel was more effective in the use of black and white versus color, this or Oppenheimer?
Oh shit.
I'm gonna say
this got more experimental in its lens choices.
Yeah.
For key moments, right? When we go into the
only intentionality between that is that the black and white moments were meant to kind of show this. Okay, I'll break this down as quick as I can. Re-evaluating the film, I feel like the real exploration Emma Stone's character is Maslow's pyramid of hierarchy needs. When you first start off with your fundamental needs, all you're meeting is your physical desires.
Yeah.
So what that means is that we need to breathe, we need to eat, we kind of need a place to take a shit. Like, that's all you need. But then at the top of that, as far as physical needs, there's also this notion of, like, sexuality. There's, like a need for sexual gratification. After that, then we need a sense of belonging, a sense of safety, a sense of society and community. That's where you see her expanding into, like, friendships. And then beyond that, then it's this idea of, like, ethics and morality, and then, like, how to contribute to yourself and where do you fit into society. And that's when she gets into prostitution, that this is her place in society. And then at the very, very top is actualization, that not only do you have your own perspective on self, you're now contributing something. Now she's back at the home, but she's contributing something to literature. She's contributing something to the new experiment that's made. And okay, why do I bring all this up for the black and white conversation? At the very base level, when you look at that black and white scene, it's like all of us. The basic truths are that we need to satisfy things like, I need to eat, I need to be at home, I need to take a shit. But then once she explores her sexuality, that's when it's like, I don't need this to survive. This is now a pleasure. This is now exploring into, like, life is not just built off of these pieces of necessary and unnecessary. Now there's this weird blurred line. Now there's color. Now there's texture. Things are not just straightforward, matter of fact, because now sexuality can be had with anybody. The idea of exploring what is my identity to society can be explored in so many different facets. I think that that's great. Going back, Oppenheimer used it to throw you back into the moments that happened and the texture of what it was to be in that mind frame, in that place, and push people back. I feel like Oppenheimer used it a lot more, and because they used it more, they had more intentionality and it was more effective.
Okay.
I think Poor Things, it was intentional for that one beat, but once we shift into color, the black and white portions really don't matter that much, But I can justify it to no end. 9.9.
Great.
Yep.
Beautiful.
Thanks for
Moving right
listening.
along.
Next on the list, we are talking about 2019's. No, I'm joking. Jonathan Glazer's The Zone of Interest. Starring Christian Friedel, Sandra Huller, and
Which we just talked about.
Johan
Johan
Karthus?
Johan Karthus.
5 nominations: Best Picture, Best Directing, Best Adapted Screenplay,
Best
Sound, and Best International Feature Film.
Best
It'll
Sound.
probably get International Feature Film.
I think it should also get sound.
Yeah, best sound. Just for the subtlety and makes you think. That's what they had me.
No,
I was like,
it really there's
It's,
so much.
yeah.
But okay, a quick recap of the film.
Yeah, yeah.
Unless you want to take it.
No,
over.
they're good.
imagine this is your house, and this wall behind it is the worst place ever. I just play. Go.
No,
for it.
Essentially.
Go for it.
yeah, I mean, you summarized it pretty well. Basically, it's talking about
That's how I summarized it for my mom.
really.
This is a normal house, but behind that wall, it's crazy.
It's really fucked up.
Yeah,
This shit right here.
This shit
It's called
right here,
death.
it's called death.
It is about a family, a Nazi family,
Right,
a
right.
very nice Nazi family. That
whoa, whoa.
it's weird because that's the way it wants to portray itself.
Right.
But it's about a Nazi family during the time of the height
the height of the Holocaust.
It's 1939, I think.
The
Yeah.
height-
43.
43.
43. Okay.
Yeah, the height of the Holocaust.
height of the Nazi era, and this family lives right next to Auschwitz, and I mean not like down the street, not
Nope.
like a couple of miles away. They could throw a rock and probably hit somebody who's in Auschwitz right now.
Yeah.
Like it's
Poor
the
choice of
other
words.
side of their wall. It's this film that explores one of the generals who he loves his life.
High-ranking officer.
High-ranking
High-ranking
officer who
officer.
loves his life, and his family lives very nice. They can have parties and they live well. And then he gets a call saying that they want to move him, and it kind of throws their life into a little bit of disarray. But he's able to pick back up, and at the very end of the film, gets a call. Hey, I just heard that I'm going to get a promotion, and I'll be able to go back over so we can continue living our wonderful life for years to come. And
Didn't he ask for once he saw the thing on the river? No.
No.
he wanted to. They basically were treated like just a,
Traveling salesman or something,
yeah.
but like branch managers or like
Yeah.
They were treated like high class society that people would even come over just to wish him a happy birthday, and they had this beautiful backyard garden, and everybody had their own room, and it was very, very nice, but it's all built off of the fact that they're perpetuating the suffering of the Jewish people and the Holocaust. Super, like, just in the sentence and just in thinking about what that film or what image they're depicting,
Right.
Yeah.
that's kind of all you need for this film.
Yeah,
like really, if you told anybody,
the
like,
beauty of it.
can you imagine that there was families that lived literally next door, and you saw
And there was
five-
full-on residential
That
neighborhoods,
question had
right?
me fucked up the whole film.
No, and that's kind of like all you need, just for people to like think about it.
Yeah.
The only thing is, and I think we can all agree, you don't know what you're supposed to do with the 1 hour 40 that they give you of film, because it's like, okay, after the first while you're like, oh shit, I get it, and then they have this weird half act break where they show flowers and the flowers fade to red. Oh, the opening
Yeah, what
of
was
this
up with
film
that?
is super odd, where you're just hearing this large soundscape
Oh yeah, all black.
Of suffering, probably.
of suffering, but it's orchestral. It's okay. Let's do a quick fire rating so that we can talk about it more.
Man, I don't even know.
Carlos,
Why me?
because you're gonna have the most accurate rating.
Yeah.
I'm sitting at about a 7 for this picture, and the only reason it goes that high is because The concept is extremely strong.
But that's it. You
Yeah,
don't
that's it,
need
yeah.
anything.
That's
That's
it.
it.
Yeah.
Would have been a great short.
It's a very ineffective film.
There's little
it's
things-
like, you know what establishing shots are? It's the whole film is composed of establishing shots.
Yeah, why did they have to do it like him walking in the door and then walking out the door and then him walking? That was annoying
You
me.
know what it
It's
is
filling in
that
space where
But
it's meant to be these static shots that make you feel like I'm just I guess kind of a fly on the wall viewing this happening. Like
with the stats rush for sure.
there's more effective ways to do it.
Yeah.
That's it.
There's more effective ways to do it. It felt like they had a genius idea of next door neighbors to the Holocaust because of their high powered status in society, right, in current society, right? And they just shat the bed, man. I think they could have been extremely more effective with this picture if they would have taken their time with it a little more.
I think the only kind of impactful scene
kid?
is
The kid
when
he's kind of like playing with the dice and then he's like, I kind of want to look outside the window.
No, I think the only
That
impactful
was it.
scene in this movie is the scene where they go out on a little boat trip and then the runoff from the Auschwitz starts flowing in. And then they have to basically swim in the product of their own creation. Like
No,
they're-
I agree with Gosh. So the kid, when he's playing in the room and like he's hearing noises and he goes to the window and he's like, yeah, I'm never doing that again.
Similar to the
Did
mom.
he say that?
Yeah.
What? I don't remember that part.
Similar to
'cause
the
he's
mom
talking
as
to
well.
himself.
Also, like very impactful, very weird
But that's
execution.
also a really good one.
But very impactful is the little girl, you know, setting apples and pears and
Oh, the cutaways,
Yeah.
the nighttime cutaways.
Yeah, and then him reading the stories.
the night story. Yeah. I thought like the ending was so trivial, man. Like, okay, cool, you're showing us the Holocaust Museum or Auschwitz Museum
the
in
shoes
real
and all that.
time.
Yeah.
For what? I mean, I
Yeah,
know
I think
for what, but I didn't need 10 minutes of it.
Yeah, like did he realize that this is
If they
history?
had
He's
made
part of
this-
history right now, or I don't know.
If they made this a
bad history?
like let's say
30 minutes short.
no, not even. I think if you had made this like let's say a 12-minute short, but reserve the last 3 minutes for the actual like Holocaust Museum
And end
those-
there.
and end there, you're fine.
Yeah.
Because I think with this film it gave you all the textural elements.
Yeah.
But then there's no emotion that you're driven towards.
It's very cool as a filmmaker. You know, Jonathan Glazer got to say, "Oh, we shot at Auschwitz
Oh,
and
yeah.
we built the
Give
set
him the
next
background.
door."
Like we were like asking, was that green screen?
No,
Or
no,
was that-
they
No,
shot
and
at.
they
They built
built the set right next to
door.
it.
natural lighting, even natural
Natural
lighting for the
lighting.
fact that they had to use like night vision. You know.
Yeah, man. I also think it was a gross use of Sandra Hüller. She did nothing in this
Yeah,
film.
I remember you guys were saying that.
Nobody
She
really
did nothing
anything.
other than to show the racism, you know, and to show how she treats her servants and
when she's with her
Or
mom.
Who
she
cares?
says, I feel like I'm the queen of Auschwitz.
Oh, and then she laughs. It's all
who
weird.
cares?
Yeah,
But yeah, it
no,
wasn't
but
like-
again, it's
I
it's so dry in its execution.
So dry,
It's
yeah.
so
Yeah.
and again, the cinematography
The
was
principles
meant
were
to,
great.
Yeah, it was meant to be this very like, this is just what it is. You know, it's meant to show you like we're not. It's almost like looking through the glass at a museum, where you're just seeing a landscape and there's no different perspectives or anything.
Or more
pretty good.
specifically, it's like looking through the window of a Nazi family, right? Like we're standing outside their house and looking through their window and see how they live.
Yeah, and it's not these very emotionally motivated compositions in the cinematography.
Very-
It's just meant to like that's what it is. Like looking at a
portrait.
zoo. It's just
The portrait, yeah.
there it is. You're not gonna get the best angle. You're not gonna get this super like let's connect with them, and that's also part of it, right? Yeah. If we make the camera too intimate with this family, then it's trying to sympathize with them.
Exactly.
They're really just leaving this entire film is just that's what it is. That's what kind of happened, and that's what the conversation sounded like. Audience, do
Take it
what
or
you
leave
want.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
take it or
kind of
leave
like it's if you want to go and it was almost like watching a historical document.
Yeah.
Like it's nothing.
It was just extremely ineffective for cinema. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, you could have used these cinematic tools to tell a more compelling story. You had all the components, dude. You had a great concept. You had a great storyline. You had great actors. You had everything at your disposal, and you did something very ineffective.
I even and you guys can tell me if you didn't see it having much more merit, but there was an Oscar-nominated short called "A Night at the Garden," which talked about.
I saw what you were saying. I saw you were saying about seeing the kind of duality of, was this more effective? And to an extent, it was, but it was the exact same thing. Right?
No, but what I was trying to show is that it accomplished the tone
in less time,
and
in the
short
format,
package. Yeah.
and in the format that's a little more straightforward.
One thing I did like about it was the sound.
I feel like it's up for sound. I mean, at least the
creepy,
use of
subtle.
sound, but yeah, I think.
But I thought they were gonna do more with it.
Yeah,
I
I agree.
Do
I
more
agree.
with the
Like,
dog or something.
I had
but
a
it just
fellow
never led to anything.
cinephile filmmaker, Anthony Salgado, had screened it before I did, and he told me, he's like, "Oh, wait for the sound. There's like 2 moments with sound," and there was,
but that's
No, and I mean it's enough for you to kind of like, oh, I get it.
yeah.
But then once you get it,
Yeah, I was expecting it to
there's
wrap
nothing
up.
different.
Yeah, it
And
was.
then you're at the party, and then the party sure has those moments where you're looking out at the crowd, and it's those parallels of like, what?
Am I the only one who's given a rating?
Yeah.
We
Okay.
should probably do that.
I'll give it a
6.8.
7.3.
7.3.
I give it like a solid 8.
8.
Yeah, I think the
I mean, it gave me something to think about it. When you walked out, walked out of here, I was like, oh shit, I thought about it, like,
Yeah,
man,
like it's fair.
yeah, you know.
What were you
That,
gonna-
and I think the sound was really good too.
Sound.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm done.
No, that's the score.
No,
I'm done.
I said 6.8.
Oh, okay. I thought you-
It's not contributing a whole lot. I think the reason it's getting even a Best Picture nod is just because of the topic. The topic's heavy. And I mean, I think it's almost like...
But it is unique. It is original. It is a unique perspective on...
The trailer had me, dude. I had to
Yeah,
watch
it's
this.
great.
Yeah, man.
I also think I haven't seen all the best international feature nominees, but between this one and the Society of the Snow, I think Society of the Snow is going to take it.
Oh wow.
It was more effective in what it was trying to do. Yeah. Perfect Day, Society of the Snow, Teacher's Lounge, Zone of Interest, and Yo Capitano. I think Society of the Snow was pretty strong, pretty cinematic. Not the best thing in the world, but more effective than this, I think. That might win, though. I'm pretty sure Zone of Interest got enough buzz to where people are going to vote for it.
I'll say this, based off the premise, knowing what you're going into, this film is not a... There's other films of, like, talking about this era that are meant to shock you and meant to horrify you and meant to really dive in and say, like, this is what... the horrors of Auschwitz and everything like that are like, and this is what we see.
It's a pretty effective thing in show don't tell, I guess.
No, it doesn't show. It's just everything's inferred. You're just hearing the screams. No, but your show don't tell is more like, I'm not going
I mean
to...
the horrors of Auschwitz.
Yeah.
Whereas a traditional Holocaust film, you'll see the horrors, you'll see the starvation, you'll see the gas chambers. This didn't show any of that. At most, we heard it.
That's what I'm saying. It's not even a show don't tell. There's no showing. It's just all your own preconceived notions of the situation.
If anything,
everything
that was
you know
relatively
historically.
effective.
Yeah, so that's why it's like you can watch it, form your own opinion. Just know that it's not going to be a glitz and glamour thing. This is just very much an experience of a film.
Yeah.
You're just meant to experience it.
The same way you're meant to experience a Holocaust museum.
Yeah, you're just supposed to see and feel
Absorb, think about it.
and then you leave. And I mean, that's it. We've seen other films of this era that I feel more impacted by.
This is the 30th anniversary of Schindler's List, for example. And, that's
I did hear that.
extremely more effective.
So yeah, done. It's a film.
It's a film.
It's a film.
Good conversation piece, I
Zone
guess.
of interest. Yeah, put it on the table.
Put it on the table. It's a coffee book of a film.
I wouldn't have this as a coffee book. Like, hey, have you checked out?
It's
How
a
do you want your
conversation
coffee?
piece. It's a good little conversation piece.
Yeah.
Jeez.
That's
Yeah, good little conversation piece. But here they are, ladies and gentlemen.
Wait, are we done?
Yeah, we're done.
That's it?
Ladies and gentlemen, the 2024 Best Picture Academy Award nominees have been discussed on this episode, or episodes if you're watching them individually, which we'll be releasing piece by piece. So you can, if you just are interested in one recap, then you can decide.
Everybody, how about we all say our favorites for the year?
Okay.
So far,
Top three, maybe?
No. Favorite.
You said S. You said favorites.
Nah, favorite.
no, like our,
Oh,
our
like
favorite.
individual favorites? Well, you guys know mine. Past Lives.
Past lives.
Past Lives for me takes it by a mile. Past Lives for me is a phenomenal picture. I won't say more. I already said it.
I'll go Killers.
Killers of the Flower Moon. Wow, really?
Yeah. I like the whole roots, the whole story of that. I'm sucker for that.
Awesome.
Austin?
Aquaman.
Dude, the one
strong.
directed by
Yeah, dude.
the guy
Let
who
me
did
change
Avatar,
mine.
right?
No.
Which
Past Lives.
Past Life 2?
Past Lives.
Nice.
No,
Yeah,
Past
which
Lives 3.
Past Lives also?
Okay, now watch
was making
the
an
third one when I was
Entourage
watching the
joke.
second one.
I didn't hear him.
Anyways, Past Lives.
Yeah.
Okay.
My personal big
That-
favorite is definitely going to be Poor Things, and
Emma?
that was one that I
was right.
mean, I like the one I'm gonna probably rewatch more just because it felt nice is the Holdovers.
Holdovers.
That was my surprise one. Like I was surprised at how much I enjoyed the Holdovers, but the one that cinematically I really hope it gets some love and awards and praise is Poor Things, and God, that was also one of the films that it's been a while since I've watched something, and I've wanted to separate myself from it so much because I'm like, it was just too much to take in at one time. I really need to process and think about what I want to explore theme-wise from that film. But
I just want to note that we asked what was your favorite of the year, not your favorite Academy Award nominated picture, and he didn't say Asteroid
Yeah,
City.
I'm
Just gonna
gonna
toss
back
that
him
out
up.
there.
no, I'm talking about the best pictures. Like, don't, dude, don't you even start with me.
Oh, that's another one. Snub of the year.
Asteroid City.
Oh, we're not gonna have
Asteroid
a
City.
snub episode, right? I guess.
Yeah, but we can. What's your guys' snub of the year?
We're doing an episode
Either
on Asteroid
film
City.
or category.
We are doing
Asteroid
Asteroid City.
Any
Yeah.
Guy Ritchie one.
Asteroid City.
Everybody else.
Like I said, what's your biggest snub of the year? It doesn't have to be a film, but it could be your category.
I guess Leo for best actor. I would toss Leo in there. Not that he should win. Cillian Murphy's still better, but
Yeah.
But I think he should at the very least gotten the nod.
Nah, you're
like
talking
I think
crazy.
Bradley Cooper got snubbed for director.
Yeah, Bradley Cooper for sure for director. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's definitely one. Yeah, I forgot about that one.
Asteroid City. Asteroid City. No, I will say that I do think I wish at some point in time for cinematography, Wes Anderson's guy named Linus, right? No, not Linus. Who? Damn it! Who's the cinematographer? Anyway, I do think for cinematography, Asteroid City, there's so much intentionality in each and every frame, and he really does build his worlds. And for these little static or panning shots, I feel like it deserves so much more love. In Asteroid City, just the production design, I thought the actors really like took us
Definitely.
where we needed to be. And you don't see any of these characters, like the actors, as anybody else other than their characters. You know, even Margot Robbie was in there, and that like took you away for a minute.
Robert D. Yeoman.
Oh, the Yeoman. But
It sounds like you didn't know.
no, I just feel like
I also think Wes doesn't use the same dude over and over
No, he
again.
does.
He does?
Yeah.
For
I didn't
every?
even know his
the
name.
guy.
Oh, okay.
I'm playing.
No, but
Ew, he did Mamma Mia.
Mamma Mia.
Here I go again.
Gross.
Here I
Yeah,
go
he did the
again.
sequel.
Oh god.
That's gross. It's disappointing.
Yeah.
I don't like him anymore.
Ew. Yeah, bro.
No,
He
but
did Ghostbusters.
So you like him again?
Oh, no, it was the woman one. Never mind.
Oh, so you don't like him again.
What the hell's the matter with them?
All right. Anyways,
thank you for watching our Oscar year in review.
Make sure to catch us in the live.
We are going to be having a Oscars.
Well, we need to talk about it.
We're going to be having an Oscar something.
Yes.
Yes.
But just know that at minimum we're going to be
Pay attention to our socials.
Yeah, pay attention to our socials. The Tower Productions page on Facebook and Instagram, Tower Prod, And
Are we on OnlyFans yet?
we are on OnlyFans. For $5 a month, you can see one of us without a sock per episode. It's not very comfortable.
This changes the game.
But yeah.
Tarantino subscribing.
I know.
Tarantino already.
Every day, it's like a little bit more of our foot. You know.
A little bit less.
No, but stay tuned because we're gonna be talking about what we want to do for the Oscars. But at minimum, we do want to be doing either like a recap or something.
Yeah, I think we're gonna end up doing a kind of
Retrospective.
next day live recap of the Oscars.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But we'll discuss
We're still
further.
spitballing.
Yeah, but stay tuned because that's coming up, and we're really excited. But thank you for joining us. And if you just watch the individual episodes,
Yeah.
I
You're
don't know
not
how
hearing
you're
this.
hearing this.
yeah. No, but if you stayed for the whole thing, we
Thank you.
appreciate you because
All
this is always
3
fun
hours?
to do. And
About 3 hours.
yeah, and this was also all of us putting in the time to really make sure we could watch all these films, so we could have a good conversation and tell you guys about it. So, thank you, everyone.
I wasn't even looking in that direction.
No, I mean it's hard. It's
No,
hard.
it is hard. No, it is hard. It is hard.
No, yeah.
It is difficult, but
timing's a
we
bitch.
do this because we really want to make a good episode. So
And in all fairness,
love films.
I don't think we did it last year. I don't even think we made it last year to like watch all of them,
Yeah.
or something. Right? Like, we
Yeah,
got
we did.
close. Yeah.
We had to
Or we were
reschedule.
cutting it close or something.
Yeah.
we're
Like,
cutting close. I think there was again more of us had like a few films we were missing.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
this time was
we're
again,
getting better. We're getting better.
Yeah.
Getting better. So yeah, thank you guys for tuning in and stay tuned and let us know your predictions of the Oscars. What are your favorites?
Yeah,
and,
we're interested in that, man.
and let us know what you've seen, what you haven't seen, what
What's
you're
your
curious
favorite
to see.
Sharknado?
The original, the OG, bro. Number one.
None of
No,
them ever.
let us know what you think's gonna win before the Oscars come out, and also what was your favorite? Maybe we're wrong. Maybe Barbie is the best film, and we missed everything about it.
Yeah, we're completely
and
off.
Zone of Interest
Go
is
team.
a masterpiece.
Zone of Disinterest?
Zone of disinterest.
They lost
Zone of
my
Disinterest.
Zone of Interest.
Thank you for tuning in to the WatchTower Film Podcast. Good night. We'll see you next time.
This was a very Maestro episode, let me tell you.
Oh, why? Because, well, really, I could tell you why it was very
I need
Maestro
more
episode.
secrets,
You know, Bradley Cooper wasn't even originally casted. It was me. But it's funny because I am quite a queer.